Rochelle White, Ezinwa, Flora. How are you all doing today? Yeah, very good quality. You're right, yes. I don't know. I actually think so. Omonike, Mary, Mesonge, Grace Favor. Yeah. Surprisingly, yes. Flora Ibrahim, Jane Monsaka. You did so well today, Jane. You did so well. Williams Elo. Jake Hockey. Welcome, everybody. Debbie Oni. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Our sister Abiola is here. Benny Gift. Plutonic. Emmanuel Ogunfadeke. Omonike again. Well, welcome everybody. Please go and invite everybody. Go invite your friends. Go call the people you care for, the people you love. Go invite them. Go call on them. We are continuing our teaching today on love, on understanding God. But really, the whole thing is about understanding God, not just love. Love, yes, but love is just the means, the instrument through which we get to know God. So the topic is knowing and understanding God through love. Knowing and understanding God through love. Knowing and understanding God. So if you say you are a Christian and you believe in the Christian God, the primary assignment that you should put before yourself should be to know God. Unfortunately, too many people today call themselves Christians, but they have no idea who God is. They have no idea who God is, and that's a problem. So to be a Christian is not the same thing as knowing as going to church. A lot of people just go to church, but they don't know God. So that is a challenge. We need to resolve the problem of getting to discover God for ourselves. So the challenge is to know God. It's all about knowing God. Knowing God and understanding God. It is only when we know God and understand God that we'll be able to reveal God. So it doesn't just end in us knowing God and understanding God, but we must also later on reveal or manifest God. We must demonstrate God. So it's not enough to just know God, but we must also later on make Him known. We must also reveal Him. So our series is about knowing and understanding God. Knowing and understanding God through love. Is it okay that you have the lights showing somewhere? Knowing and understanding God through love. Knowing and understanding God through love. So we want to know God and we want to understand God, and the way to do it is through love. Through love. So, but the topic of today itself is love is not selfish. Love is not selfish. Love is not selfish. And is that supposed to be more obvious? That's supposed to be clear, actually. So everybody's supposed to know that love is not selfish. But unfortunately, in Africa today, what people teach in churches is actually that same selfishness. Most pastors, most churches, most teachings in our so-called charismatic churches today are actually promoting selfishness. Most teachings are actually propagating egocentrism. That's against what love stands for. That's directly against what God, who God is. God is love. And love is the direct opposite of selfishness and egocentrism. Meanwhile, churches that are supposed to be propagating love or talking about God, propagating and preaching God, and God is love. So they are supposed to be preaching love, preaching God. Instead of preaching love and God, they are preaching self. They are using God to promote selfishness and egocentrism. It is the direct antonym, opposite, of who God is and what Christianity stands for. Christianity stands for love, and that means selflessness, not selfishness, but selflessness. Christianity stands for love, and that means service for humanity, service to God, service to another, but definitely not. It's not about self or self-promotion or self-aggrandization, but that is aggrandizement. That is what we are seeing in Christianity today through these African churches. That's what we see. Now, so love is not selfish. Love is not selfish. It means that when I really get to discover love, I stop living for myself. That is a catastrophic statement for a lot of African Christians. How can I stop living for myself? The whole idea of their whole life has been about themselves. Their whole activities and everything they ever do has been about themselves. And here I come, I say, love. I mean, if you become a Christian, you don't live for yourself. In fact, as a matter of fact, one of the greatest signs that you are a Christian is when you stop living for yourself. When you begin to think less of yourself, then you are becoming more of Christian. So if you want to gauge your level as a Christian, if you want to put some parameter on how to know if you are a good Christian or not, one of those parameters is how selflessness are you becoming. So if you are becoming more selfless, then you are becoming more Christian. But if you are becoming more greedy and more desiring and more selfish and thinking more about yourself, then it means that you are becoming less Christian. So the more you are a Christian, the less selfish you are. The more you are a Christian, the more selfless you are. The more you are a Christian, the more you think less about yourself. The more you are a Christian, the more you pray less for yourself. The more you are a Christian, the more you worry less about yourself. The more you are a Christian, the less you think or worry or bother about your own life. The more you are a Christian, the more you think about other people. The more you are a Christian, the more you think about the good of others, about humanity, about God, about His kingdom, about the nation, about the society. You don't think about yourself. Love is not selfish. Love is not selfish. So love is not selfish. And what is love? Love is God. God is love. So it means God is not selfish. And if you are a believer in God, you cannot be selfish. If you know God, you will not be selfish. So anybody who knows God, the proof that he knows God is in how less selfish he is. Anybody that comes to you and say they are believers or they are pastors, you will not read selfishness in their messages. But if you go to Africa today, everything is about selfishness. A pastor could come and say, I need 10 people to give $1 billion each. 1 billion naira each. So you say that is not selfishness because he wants to build the house of God. Good. Let's agree that he wants to build the house of God. But in that same church, there are people who are hungry, who cannot afford 3 square meals. But you want to build your own ministry. Whereas if anybody in that church can afford 1 billion naira, that 1 billion naira, do you know how many people it can feed? You know how many people it can take care of? You know how many students it can take off the street? Because to take a student off the street and send them back to school for 1 year, it's only $30 you need. With 1 billion naira, you can take almost of 1 million of those children. And then someone is saying, give it to me, let me use it for brick and metal. And you are saying that there are no selfishness there. What does you gain? You say, but there will be a place for you to sit. No, people are sitting even now too. It's not about people sitting down or where to sit. It's about ego. To buy an airplane, it costs millions of dollars. There are billions of naira. So one airplane will take 1 million children out of school. But instead of people doing that, what do? They take people's money, these same people's money, and buy themselves an airplane. So selfishness is what you say. If you hear any pastor, any Nigerian pastor talking, they are talking about the size of their church, the size of their congregation, how much they are expanding, what next they are going to build. That's all selfishness. They are not talking about how many people they feed. They are not talking about how many people they set free, how many people they send to school, how many people have been delivered from poverty, how many houses have been built for people, how many things have been done for other people. It's all about their ministry. Our ministry now has this thing. Our church now has this thing. Oh, we now have our own bank. Oh, we now... It's selfishness. All the talk about church, us, that is against love. It's against love. Love is not selfish. All those things are against the nature of God. And if you are selfish, you don't know God. Because God is selfless. So for you to know God, if you know God, you will know that God is not selfish. If you know God, you will know that most of your resources are supposed to be directed at taking care of other people. If you know God, you will not be taking from people, and especially from desperate, poor people, people who cannot afford 3 square meals. You are still taking tithe and offering from them. Even in the Old Testament, there was no tithe and offering from the poor. God didn't allow for the orphans, the widows, and the poor to pay tithe. Why? Because the tithe is meant to be given to them. But today, you want to take tithe and offering from even the most desperate, from everybody, because you want to build your own ministry. Is that not selfishness? Love is not selfish. It means, and if you are selfish, it means you don't know God, because God is not selfish. So one of the ways to know if somebody knows God or not, and if you go to your church, find out what your church is doing, what your church is talking about. Do they just talk about themselves? Do they just talk about their own projects? Do they just talk about their own programs? Do they just talk about their own expansion? Do they keep on pushing people to give for their expansion, for their growth, for their this and that? That is an indicator for you, or indication for you, that that is a selfish church. And if the church is selfish, it means the church doesn't know God. A selfish church doesn't know who God is. A selfish community's fellowship doesn't understand God. If a church is selfish, it means that church doesn't know who God is. If a church is selfish, it means that church does not understand who God is. If a church is if a pastor, a GO is selfish, it means that pastor, that GO doesn't know who God is. If you listen to most of our GOs and most of those things, you listen to their speeches, you will see that it's all talking about their greatness. They want to get that or more. They are building that. They are doing this. It's all about selfishness. And God is not selfish. If they love God, they will not be selfish. Why? Because love is not selfish. If they love God, they will not be selfish, because love takes care of other people. Love will be selfless. Love will be sacrificial. Love will take care of other people. Love is not selfish, because God is not a selfish God. God is a kind God. So to know God is to be like God. To understand God is to operate like God. And who is God? God is not selfish. To love God is not to be selfish. Love itself is not selfish. It means that to believe in God is to be like God and not to be selfish, to be selfless. So knowing, because love is not selfish, which means when you learn to love, you will learn not to be selfish. And when you learn not to be selfish, it means you are learning to become like God. And when you become like God, you are becoming like Him. It means you know Him. It means you begin to understand God and operate like God. So when we say love is not selfish, that is a pathway for you to know God and understand God. When God is not selfish and you train yourself to not be selfish, it means you are understanding the nature of God. You are becoming like God Himself. Because now you are not selfish too. You begin to understand and think like God. You begin to have the same feeling like God. That is how you know God. That is why love is one of the easiest ways for us to discover who God is. So when you love people selflessly, you are becoming like God. You are taking on the nature of God upon yourself. Love is not selfish, and that is a thing that will help you to bring you to the knowledge of who your Father is as a loving God that is not selfish. But when we are talking about churches in Africa today, all the teachings they are preaching, all their messages is pushing you and telling you on how to be greedy. Unfortunately, most of the churches in Africa right now is just teaching you about greed. They are telling you, come to church, they will be promising you, oh, you will get this, you will get that. You will get this blessing, you will get that blessing. Oh, you will come to this church will give you this miracle, that church will give you that miracle. Oh, this church has more miracle than that miracle. Oh, you come, you will get your healing. Oh, you come, you will get your breakthrough. Oh, give the money, you will get it multiplied. Oh, more money will come for you for this. Oh, more of this will come for you today. Oh, believe and come for this. Oh, do this. It's all making you to think more about yourself. Whereas Christianity is supposed to help deliver you from yourself. Christianity is supposed to help you become more, to become less egocentric, less selfish, more selfless. Christianity is supposed to help you to get rid of your ego. Christianity is supposed to help you to get rid of greed. But right now, the kind of churches that we see in Africa is rather teaching you greed. Even if you are not greedy before, now church is teaching you about greed. Even if you are caring about others before, now church is only talking about you and your own blessing, your own blessing. So you are now becoming more selfish when you become Christian. So that's why people don't know God in those churches. And a lot of those people are deceived. Because even though they are in churches, but they don't know God, and they will be shocked when they get to heaven. Because if you don't know God, the Bible says if you don't know love, you don't know God. And if you cannot love him, you cannot walk in love, there is no way you can get to heaven. Love and the knowledge of God we need a whole makeover, a whole, turnaround, a whole reconstruction of the concept of church and Christianity in Africa. Because Christianity is bringing more damage to people's mind, to people's value system. It's making us egocentric. These churches are making us egocentric. And that is not Christianity, by the way. Those are what we call Christians, but they are really paganistic centers. They are really syncretism. They are not practicing Christianity. Love is not selfish. You go, if you don't believe me, you don't need to believe me. You go and examine the teachings of your own pastor. Take 52 Sundays, the 52 Sundays in a year, and go and analyze those teachings. What is the main message about? You will see that the main message is about you. It's concentrating on you to make you to get more things, to have more things, to become more greedy, to have more things, to glance through more. It's either about you or about their church. Whereas Christianity is supposed to be you preferring others above yourself. You loving others. Christianity is supposed to be teaching you how to love others, how to care for others, how to love God more. But you can look into a 10-year history of any church in Africa, and you will not see any teaching about how to love God. You will not see any teaching about how to know God. You will not see any teaching about how to understand God. You can go to churches in Africa for, for 20 years, for 30 years, and you will not hear one message on how to know God, how to love him. That is why people are becoming more selfish. And if you are selfish, you are not serving God, you are serving yourself. You are serving idols. So most Christians, people who call themselves in Nigeria, they are actually serving idols without themselves knowing. So, love is not selfish. And what does selfishness bring you to? If you are selfish, what does that bring you to? Selfishness destroys you. Either you like it or you don't like it, selfishness will destroy your life. Now, there are different kinds of destructions. Okay, for example, somebody could be selfish and become a drug addict. You can see that is obvious. You can easily see obvious destruction. He's a drug addict, he's homeless, he's lost. That is physical, obvious destruction. But you might be a pastor, a GO, a bishop. Because you are selfish, your life has actually been destroyed, but nobody will see it. Your spiritual content has been destroyed. That's why most churches in Nigeria, all these big men of God, they don't even know that they are missing it. Or maybe they know, but they cannot, they are manipulating people. Their conscience is destroyed. The fear of God is gone. They have become blind and dead spiritually. They are not even feeling that something is wrong. That is even a worse condition than to be a drug addict. That is a worse condition than to be homeless. So I'm going to show you a film right now that will tell you about what the devastating effect of selfishness. I'm going to show you, not a film, actually, it's an interview, it's a documentary. When you see this devastation that you're going to see here, is the same devastation that selfishness creates, even in the so-called Hollywood people, or in the so-called bishops and GOs and the big churches. The same effect, the same kind of result of devastation is going on in their lives, even though you don't see it. You might be copying them, you might be envying them, you might be thinking that they are good, they are doing well, but really, they are going through devastation. Let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at this video, or this video here. And it's a very pathetic video, very sorrowful one, very sorry kind of video. But it just tells you how devastating selfishness is, how destructive selfishness is. That's why God doesn't encourage selfishness. That's why God is the opposite of selfishness. Selfishness is a characteristic of Satan. Belongs to the kingdom of darkness. It's the very opposite of God. And this is what our churches are preaching about. Let's have a look here about this video. Let's have a look.
I've been at the top there before coming down. But then I just want to tell my listeners that the devil don't give anything for free. I went to good schools, Datius Preparatory. From there, I went to Kwabotwe. I am from Kwabotwe. I went to Achimota School. From Achimota College, sixth form, I went to the Institute of Journalism. But then, the journalism was not really paying. I was working with the BBC. It was not paying like today. Though it was a satisfactory job. But then, my lifestyle was so big, I wanted to impress. So, I started dealing in drugs. My first one that I took was India hemp, and that one was for somebody, and I was a career. I made $4,000, and then my second trip, I made $8,000. And I said, look, come on, let me do it by my own. I went about 4 trips with India hemp, and I realized that we was
Your trip to where?
I made a trip to Italy. I made a trip to Switzerland. I made a trip to United States. And then after that, I started dealing with cocaine. And with the cocaine, I was a big boy. As at 1982, December, I was controlling $162,000. I made bad sheet of dollars at the Wilbur Hotel, which is now a bank opposite bus stop. And I had a lot of hunger, so I don't take taxi because I felt taking a taxi is a humiliation. I change cars every 2 months. From Jaguar XJS1, I brought Lincoln Continental. The only car I've never brought down here was a Bentley and then a Rolls Royce. But then I was busted in 1984 to March. And it was one of the biggest catch of cocaine from the continent of Africa. That is 142 tons. Yes, I was busted, and then I made a little bit of time because my passport shows that I was younger. But then if you see me with my gray hair, you think I'm 75 or 80. Yes, because after I left jail and then came back, I lost all my friends. As for the women, when you have deeper pocket and you have a lot of dollars, they call you honey. But when you get broke and you develop holes in your pocket, they make themselves conveniently unavailable. They vanish. the friend vanished. Out of frustration, me myself I started to use the drug. Believe me, don't ever go there. Don't let anybody deceive you. Heroin and cocaine. Because with cocaine, when you have 100 million now, within the next 4 hours, you're going to get broke. It will get finished. Yes, and with the heroin, once you start taking it, excuse me, once you start taking it, within a 1 month, you get what they call cold turkey. Without it, you can't survive. Your social life, your physical life, you can't even travel. For a long time, I didn't travel. I don't go to funerals because when I go to maybe Kumasi and the cold turkey, I don't have some on the store or it runs out, I will have cold turkey. And what is cold turkey? You have stomach cramps, you have rheumatism type of things, and it's the only thing that follows you to your dream. Even your dream, when you have cold turkey, in your dream, it will follow you and they will give you stuff in your dream. It shouldn't work because it's not a real thing. You wake up, the pain is there. You will sell your car worth about $200,000 for $5,000, and you are happy that you got in that money to sustain and support that happy. So I am begging my listeners and that don't ever do the mistake that I did. I have seen women, when we talk about women, I've seen women I can describe as seductive brilliance of the woman with guitar shape, luscious and kissable lips. I have moved by the best women. I've taken women to Switzerland, I don't want to mention names, and I have slept at Grand Sheraton, which I paid $1,500 a day. Taking women to Venice. Venice is a city on water where you just go with a gondola, the boat, yes, with light reflecting on the river. It's what I call a kaleidoscope, paradise on earth, yes, all because I want to impress the women. But at the end of the day, yeah, they are there for you. They will call you names, darling, honey, yes. But then, a day when you develop holes, they will call you Pepe because the magic is gone. They were there just because of your pocket, yes. And so, I will plead with you don't make the mistake I did. Today, there are places that I go, they look down at me from my footwear. I have won 7-row suit. 7-row, they are in England. They make the best suit. Not the kind of suit people wear like carpenters show them. These are suits made by Italian tailors, and when they sew one part, they patch it up. Yes, you wear it and you see that, yes, you wear a suit, yes. And those days, when you put up a shoe, I'm talking about calf leather. Here, Kadin, yes. We didn't have China where people go and bring that kind of stuff. I wear rollers. They did chronograph, automatic self-rewinding people. Yes, I bought for my girlfriend Cartier 18 carats studded with green emeralds. Green emerald is the highest form of diamonds. Yes, but today when I see the women, they tell me, hey, Jeff, is that you? They give me a gift of $50. Pride plays a backseat to desperation. You may say that, well, you have flexed these women before, you have taken them. I've never flown on Zongo on an aircraft before, not even Ghana Airways. I go with Switzerland, I go with Panam, and always business class, yes. I fly from Britain, that is London to New York with Concorde. I pay $4,700 there to go from London to New York, which is under normal circumstance, when you go by the DC-10 or the Boeing 747, will take you about 6 hours. But then with the Concorde, it will take you 3.5 hours, yes. But then at the end of the day, you become so humiliated, you want to kill yourself. I've tried killing myself 2 times, it didn't work, yes. I drove a car into a tree at a down, it never worked. And then the second time I took Valium. The Valium I took 10 milligrams. I took about 20. But that day I woke up a bit earlier than I normally get out of bed. I said, well, stop fighting God. And at that time, I saw people go to church like they don't have what it takes. That is why they go and hide in church, because I thought I was too smart. One time I told a guy, I'll feed you for the rest of your life. You can't compare yourself to me. God forgive me. When I see this guy today, he said, Charlie, take. He give me pittance, yes. And so I'm such an emotional and sentimental person that when people despise me, I feel so bad. The other day, I went to a church. Somebody invited me. When I walked into the church, what the pastor said, the head pastor who has given himself titles, Bishop, International, who brought this? Who is this man? Some kind of souls you can win. And I just felt so humiliated. I walk out of the church. Yes, but then, life is about what you make it. I wanted to be rich. I became rich, fabulously rich. But then, what use will it make when you are young and you are rich, and then getting to your 60s, you look like an age patient, or you look like about 75 years, people despising you? No. It is better that you go through the meal, you struggle through the meal, and then at the end of the day, when you are getting older, yes, then you make it. Because there's a saying that the victor needs give no explanation, but the majority do not look out for circumstantial details, but for the successful and unsuccessful outcome. Almost without exception, people will pretend like they love you, but it is articulating a minor motive against an inarticulate major motive. They want your pocket, they want to chop you, and when they chop you and the magic is gone, they say bye-bye. And the kind of things they say about you, you hear it and you just want to take your life. But then, at the end of the day, I thank God that I'm alive. I still get these suicidal tendencies once in a while. But then, I really want to impart this free advice to you. If you take it, it's going to help you. Because the worst thing that can happen to you, there is not broken heart. It's when you get hooked to drugs. You feel so bad, yes, and you are hooked, yes, slave. You are a slave to rape, and people will despise you. Your family will get humiliated. Somebody go to your sister to buy things in the shop and say, hey, I saw that your brother, the mad person. Come to think of it, do I sound like a mad person? But this is what drugs, and to quit it was not easy. And after quitting it, people will see you that once a thief, always a thief. Once a drug addict, always a drug addict. Yes. So I will appeal that when people are able to kick the habit, society should not neglect them, because when you start neglecting people, they say, well, after all, the world is neglecting me, even church is neglecting me. Yes, I'm not calling for sympathy, but it makes you go back and do the things you were doing. You say that, I don't care, it's not my relative. Somebody will go and move something from your car. Somebody will break into your car to steal your laptop and money, because they have cold turkey, and you are desperate, and you will do anything to support the habit. You don't mind stealing. When they catch you, they catch you. Yes, that is why in the advanced countries like Scandinavia, when you are a drug addict, you go and register at the drugstore, and they give you an artificial heroin, methadone, where when you take it, you get normal, not get high. But here we don't have that facilities. They take you to mental hospital, they give you Lagati, yes, and when they give you Lagati instead of methadone, you become so stiff, and you become like, as Agabi people say, bulu bulu. Your neck becomes so stiff, yes, and before you realize, you get from bad to worse. Yes, I really don't want to know. But then, if you have somebody, a relative or a friend going to drugs, or you intend to go to a drug, my friend, you are going to end up to be the most miserable person in the world. I can vote for it, because I've been a drug addict for 26 years.
Wow. What a story. What a story. Well, this story we are seeing here Now, the gist of the story is that this guy was a journalist, was one of the first Ghanaian journalists to work for BBC. He was so smart, he was so good, that BBC employed him from Africa to work for them. But greed, selfishness destroyed him. Because he was thinking, BBC is good, but it's a long time to make it big, salary, living on salary. He wanted to live a more selfish life. He loved himself too much. He said, love is not selfish. When you begin to be selfish, selfishness destroys you. But whatever we have had in this man's story, the same thing happens to every selfish person. Only on different level, but selfishness destroys you. And the church in Nigeria has been destroyed by selfishness right now. Those our bishops, they are being destroyed on daily basis. You think they are doing fine. People who don't know the inside story, you might think that they are doing well, but they are actually being ruined. Anyone that is selfish, that just building his own life, building his own empire, just thinking about himself, about his own good, and thinks less and cares less about people, this is the rottenness that is happening to them. Now, I'm going to get you a comparison. We just saw how evil selfishness is, and why God says we should not be selfish. We should live in love, which is, being selfless, to prefer others above ourselves and live a selfless life. Now, but let's hear what the churches in Nigeria are teaching. So, if selfishness is so destructive, you would think that all churches are supposed to be teaching against selfishness and, to deliver people from ego and from selfishness. But Nigerian churches, almost all of them, of course, there are remnants, but most of them, they are only teaching the same selfishness that brings you evil and destruction is what pastors and churches in Nigeria are selling. Majorly, all their teachings are bordered around the person, the individual, your needs, your breakthrough, your miracle. It's all about self. Actually, they are destroying you. They are ruining your life. They are ruining your children's lives. They are ruining your destiny. They are destroying you. Message of selfishness destroys. Only love can cure it. Let's have a look at what a Nigerian pastor, typical pastor, is teaching about. And this is one of their leaders. This is one of the big ones. This is one of the successful ones. Okay, you want to give testimony. You have a speech of any one of them talking? We will later on talk about. On one hand, the pastors are talking about, they are teaching selfish stuff. So all the people in church, their whole dream testimonies about selfishness. Let's have a look at it.
A clip of only 5 minutes, and they'll be closing in the service. By divine directive, this church is embarking on its next level sanctuary. Amen. It's 100,000 seat stadium-like sanctuary. In church history has ever embarked on it. But God said that is the next thing to do. By His grace, the local assembly is stood about 400,000 today. And so we can't even enter the church with one service. But we can start from somewhere. We have also mapped out 1,000 acres in the new Canaan city for this sanctuary. The 1,000 acres includes 500 acres for Shiloh camp, where people can have their camp, where every station will have a house representing their nation, where every state will have their houses representing their radio state, and where we have tents large enough to accommodate people with dignity, so they won't have to be flying up and down when they come around for sheep. Amen. I'd like you to have a good dream to bed. So you have to watch this, and as you go to bed, you'll be dreaming well. It's been properly animated so that you can feel the life of this awesome design. Hallelujah.
You see, everything, you see, when, like we are talking today about, let's go to the topic, that love is not selfish. Love is not egocentric. Love doesn't think of itself. Love is not just living for itself. But with the church, that video we just saw is a typical example of what church life is in Nigeria. Church is all about self-aggrandizement, increase, more and more. And everything is God. God said that's the next station. God said that's the next stage. God said this. And I don't know how true it is. Somebody just said that they have even stopped that God now said they should stop the construction. They should wait or stop it. So, God said, and I'm sure they're going to stop it because I've been warning them that in the next 50 years, that all those structures for 1 million, for 2 million people will be empty. We will turn them to the Institute for Agriculture. We will turn them into storehouses because they will be empty. But at that same time, when they are talking about 100,000 seater, 1,000 acres, all these things, there are people in that church who cannot send their children to school. There are people in that church who cannot pay their school fees. There are people in that church who cannot eat 3 square meals. In fact, there are pastors in that church who cannot send their children to school. I know that for a fact. There are senior pastors in that ministry who cannot pay for their school fees, for the school fees of their children in that same school, in that same university. And then you want to use their money, and this money is coming from the same people who are poor, who need to be helped, and we still want to do self-aggrandizement and just expansion. What is that talking about? Love is selfish. Love is not selfish. Whenever you see any selfish love, there is no God there. There is idol there. It is idolatry. It is Satan. Satan is selfish, but not God. Love is not selfish because God is love. And love is not selfish because, God is not selfish. Philippians 2:3 says, let nothing be done through selfish ambition. You see, nothing should be done through selfish ambition. But what I see in most Nigerian churches is selfish ambition everywhere. Selfish ambition everywhere. Selfish ambition. This one want to say, oh, I have the most sophisticated cathedral. Oh, that one say, oh, I hold the biggest meeting in a year. Oh, that one will say, I have the biggest camp. Oh, that one will say, I have the biggest miracle. That one, it is all selfish ambition. Too much selfish ambition. Anywhere there is selfishness, there is no God there. Because love is not selfish. And who is love? God is love. Love is not selfish. So whenever you see selfishness, run for your life. There is no God there. It's not God. So when you are taking all your money and giving to those kind of projects and those kind of churches, they are killing you and they're still taking your money for it. Let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness of mind. Let each esteem others better than himself. Lowliness of mind. What does that mean? Esteem others above. That means that the interest of church members, others, must be esteemed above the projects of just bricks and brick and cement. Instead of building a bigger and bigger buildings, bigger and bigger projects, what about others? but in lowliness, in humility, esteem. Let this mind be in each of you. Esteem others better than yourself. Don't be thinking selfishness. When you become a Christian, you measure your Christianity by how much less you think about yourself, by how much you think about others, by how much you want to do for others, by how much good you want to extend to others. It is how much you are able to think for others, esteem others' interests, care for them, especially when these people are desperate, especially when they cannot afford 3 square meals. In that country, the average is the poorest people in the world. Only $1 or $2 on average they live on. I mean, it is a disgrace. When people are so poor, so desperate, 10 million children are out of school, you just want to keep on building. Where is your conscience? Where is our conscience? Where is God? I mean, there is no way the Spirit of God is working in these people's mind and heart, and the Spirit of God will not convince them. I'm actually sure that these people have divorced with the Spirit of God. They have just departed from God's way altogether. There is no way this. I mean, these things are written in the Bible, not just even the Spirit of God alone. Even read the Bible. The Bible says true religion. If you want to think about true religion is to take care of the widows. True religion is to take care of the orphans. True religion is to go and take care of them. True religion is not how much size church you have. True religion is not how many buildings you have. True religion is not how many private jets. You know, to take care of, just to service one private jet alone in Nigeria, $4 million a year. That is just service. $4 million. So to maintain, every year you are paying $4 million for maintenance. Do you know how many people will be out of school with that $4 million? Do you know how many widows and orphans will be taken care of? Do you know how many? And this money is coming from them. We are not even talking about the money you make for yourself without coming from people. But this money these churches have is coming from people. They are coming from offering and tithe and people's giving. And how can you be using that money to just be expanding, building your own empire and your own name? That is the height of selfishness. And that is not God. That's why I'm saying there is no church in Nigeria. I know there are remnants, okay? But there is no church per se in the bigger, larger picture. People are falling so far away from who God is. Look what God is saying here. Let nothing be done through selfish ambition. You want to tell me that the church you go to, there is no selfish ambition? You want to tell me that everything is not about them, about the church, about their ministry? You want to tell me that most of the projects they have is not selfish? Let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness, things must be done for others. And the way it is done is by esteeming others above yourself. When we are selfish, we stop seeing the world in colors, only in black and white. Either you are for us or against us. Love is not bitter. Okay, let's go and see another test. I think whatever you want to say. Let's see another video. But maybe we shouldn't show the same church because we should do another one so that they don't think we're just focusing on them. So it's like people don't know God. That's why I'm saying this teaching we are doing about love is actually not just about love. It's a love series but it's about knowing and understanding God. This whole thing is about knowing and understanding God. But I'm afraid people don't just have an idea who God is. They don't know God. If they know God, they will behave differently. Let's have a look at this testimony here.
Praise the Lord. My name is Ms. Joy Ajayi. 2014, I had a topic operation in the month of July. I came here in the month of September, and they have told me that I cannot give birth anymore. And that day the Lord said that there is someone here that God is going to change his situation to laughter. And I said, amen. So the glory of God, the second month of the month of September, I took him this David Saint. I named his name David Saint. This is the boy. The second one is Samuel. The second testimony, that is last year, January on the 5th. Today make it a year of this baby as a birthday. I give birth through operation. Behold, I was bleeding. The doctor, they can't do anything. 8 doctors from to 14. They are just looking at me. I told one of the nurse, please go to my husband's car. There is calendar there. And I believe because I have a God of E.A. Adegboye is my mentor, is my godfather. I placed it in my tummy. I said, God of Adegboye, come and heal me. I don't want to die. I don't want someone to take care of this baby. Behold, the blood seed. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. Orúkọ mi ni Zacchaeus Molero. Ní year 2016, after Special Holy Ghost, mo gba ìpè láti UK pé wọ́n arrest ọmọ mi. Kí ló ṣe? Wọ́n lórí ìpè ọmọ ọdún 10. Mo wo kí ni mo fẹ́ ṣe lẹ́sẹ̀kẹ́ kó bá gbé lẹ́tà mo kọ lẹ́tà sí àwọn dáàdì pè mí. Kí ló ṣe jẹ́? Mo ṣàlàyé. Wọ́n gbàdúrà fún ẹ pẹ̀lú wáìfù mi. Wọ́n á sọ pé mo fẹ́ lọ sí UK. Mo mú òróró dání, àkáṣìbò mo dání. Ìgbà tí màá dán wọn ní bí o tiẹ̀ ní mo kó wọlé láti lọ lò. Wọ́n á ní ẹ̀mí mọ́ kí ni mo fẹ́ ṣe? Mo á mú òróró, mo tú sórí mi ó pọ̀ dáradára. Scan wọn màrí òróró. Nígbà tí mo wọlé àwẹ̀. Nígbà tí mo wọlé tí mo ti jókòó àwẹ̀, ṣé lóòótọ́ ló ṣe kínní kámọ́rú àdúrà tá a máa gbà? Ó ní dáàdì, ṣé kò sí lédì nílùú òyìnbó lájẹ́ ọmọ ọdún 10? Kúnlẹ̀ ní gbàdúrà fún ẹ. Mo ṣe báyìí òróró jáde, mo ṣe báyìí òróró jáde, mo ṣe kínní ó gbọ́ wọlé. Mo pe Ọlọ́run Abraham, Ọlọ́run Isaki, Ọlọ́run Jacobu, Ọlọ́run Adébóyè, Ọlọ́run Akédáyọ̀mí. Mo gbàdúrà fún ọmọ yìí. Mo embrace ẹ̀. Àméjì asokún mo jáde. Mo á lọ rí lọ́ọ̀yà. Mo ní ẹ̀yin lọ́ọ̀yà. Kí ni implication tó wà ní ọdún 25 years? Mo bá kúrò ń bẹ̀, mo á lọ rí. Mo tún padà dé, mo lọ rí dádì ohun tí mo bá bọ̀ lélẹ́ yìí o. Dádì ní kí n lọ fọkànbalẹ̀ pé kò sí ohun tó ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ohun tó á ṣẹlẹ̀ tó á yà lẹ́nu pé ọmọ ẹ̀ wá padà wá sí Nàìjíríà ní August. Bó ṣe dé gbàrà báyìí mo lọ sọ̀rọ̀ dádì gbàdúrà gbogbo méjèèjì lè báyìí pé Olúwa aṣọ́nà ẹ̀ ní rere lónìí. Ògo ni fún Ọlọ́run lókè ọ̀run. Ọmọ mi wà ní ìlú Amẹ́ríkà báyìí. Ó ti ṣègbéyàwó ní oṣù 11 tó kọjá yìí. Yẹ̀yẹ́ mi Ọlọ́run ṣe kí ni o? Ó sọ di ayẹyẹ. Joseph jáde nínú ọgbà ẹ̀wọ̀n. Ó lọ di kí ni? Ọmọ mi kúrò nílùú UK. Ó kúrò ń bẹ̀. Ó di èrò Amẹ́ríkà. Ó di citizen Amẹ́ríkà. Ẹ bá mi ké hallelujah. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run, mo dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ bàbá mi. Ẹ̀mí gígùn àtàlàáfíà. Olúwa bá mi fi fún ọ. Ẹ bá mi yin Olúwa lógo.
That is
thanking God for what God did.
Stop. Okay, we have more testimony, but let's get the translation. He knows, he's a Yoruba boy. He knows Yoruba. Talk, interpret.
All right, so this was his testimony. He had a son in the United Kingdom, and his son was accused of raping a 10-year-old girl. 10-year-old, yeah. A 10-year-old. Rape. So when he had the news, he called Pastor Adeboye, and after that, he flew to the UK. So when he got to the UK, he went with oil. Yeah, he took anointing oil and handkerchief. Yeah, but when he got there, they couldn't give him. I mean, they told him not to take anything along with him, so he couldn't go into the cell. So he couldn't go into the cell with the handkerchief and with the anointing oil. So what he decided to do was that he poured the anointing oil on his head. So he said he poured a lot of anointing oil on his head, and then the scan couldn't stop him from going inside. So he got into the cell, and then he asked his son that, "Hey, son, did you really do this thing?" And the son said, "But Dad."
He didn't say yes or no.
Yeah, he said, but he was like, I didn't know other ladies.
who are older
than the 10-year-old lady. So he put his left hand and his right hand on the head, and he prayed for the child. Then after he prayed for the child, they cried. Then he left. Then he went to ask the lawyer, what is the implication of this case? And then the lawyer said, well, your son is going to spend 25 years in prison. 25 years in prison. That's like the penalty for that. So I don't know what happened, but he said he came back to Nigeria. We don't know what happened in between. Yeah. But he said he came back to Nigeria.
When the court was going, the son also came to Nigeria.
Yeah. And so the son came to Nigeria. So he said as soon as the son came to Nigeria, he took the son to meet Pastor Adeboye. And Pastor Adeboye prayed for him, laid his hands on him, and said some prayers. So, but then the testimony is now his son is in America. I think he mentioned that his son married some months back, and that his son is now he's now out of prison, and his son is a citizen of America, and that God turned what would have been his sorrow into joy. That's
okay. Now let's go back to the original. Let's go back to the original story about. You see, let's start with the last one. This last one, can you imagine? Your son raped a girl. This is UK. This is not Nigeria. You know, where are you? Come.
Yes, sir.
You know, rape is not an easy charge.
Yeah.
It's not easy to prosecute rape.
Yeah.
And for rape, for you to be prosecuted for rape, assault or sexual assault is different, or what they call it. There's something they call it when you are advancing. Sexual advances is different. But rape is a very serious charge. Yeah. And especially if the person is 10-year-old. Normally a 10-year-old is supposed to be a virgin. So if she's raped, it means she was disvirgin, or she was maybe brutalized. All right. Now, for you to prosecute somebody for rape, it means there have to be Siemens or blood. There must be medical. This is in the UK, and I think people who are living in the UK will be able to tell us that has to be beyond reasonable evidence. That he was sentenced to jail, so he went to jail. Well, he didn't tell us how long the guy was in jail. But for you to be sentenced for raping 10-year-old, and you are not acquitted, you are sentenced, it means they are not just circumstantial evidences. It means these are evidences that are beyond reasonable doubt. True. Now, of course, anybody can mess up. Anybody can miss it. And as parents, no matter what your child does, you still have to, if they say your child, you still have to pray for him. But what I'm saying is, see the kind of testimony people are giving. That, okay, DS, whatever, Bishop or whatever, Geo prayed, and then, but if he was accused falsely, okay, but he was sentenced, then he came out, now he went to America after jail, he served his jail term. So what was the testimony? It's still disgraceful to even say your son was raping 10-year-old. Well, what am I trying to say? Selfishness. Because it's me, it's mine. It doesn't matter the destiny of that girl. It doesn't matter the consequences, even the gruesomeness of this crime. But since it's my son, because everything is all about egocentrism and selfishness. Now, let's go back to the other story. This other lady, she already had children, Where is she? She already had children, But for some reasons, you want us to hear her story again. Maybe we should listen to that story again, because you have so many of them. You could have listened to all of them, because stories are all testimony. Why should I even be telling you stories about Nigeria? Testimonies in Nigerian churches. Everything is about egocentrism. Me. Me. So I think we should listen to them. I think they all know more testimonies than me. But love is not about selfishness. And this is what I'm saying is that, you remember the story of the Ghanaian guy? Mm-hmm. Selfishness drove him from a career that was, amazing career. Selfishness destroyed him. Mm-hmm. My point is that selfishness destroys all the time. You might not see it, though. It might not be so obvious, like the case of that Ghanaian journalist, but you might not become a drug addict, you might not become an alcoholic, you might not become homeless. But even if you are successful at these pastors, you are living a selfish life like that, you are still being destroyed, even if nobody knows about it. Yeah. And then these pastors now, they are destroying all their members by teaching and circulating and all their teachings on egocentrism, selfishness, by teaching people to seek for their own good, for themselves, for their own benefit, about egocentric messages. They are the same ruin that we saw in the life of that drug addict, that Ghanaian man, is the same ruin that is happening in the life of all these people now. Mm. So they think coming to church is improving them, is actually destroying them. It's like selfishness is actually ruining them without them knowing. Mm. And they are going more and more, looking for more and more miracles, listening to those selfish for themselves. Mm. Whereas Jesus said, if you really want to serve me, you will deny yourself. The secret of greatness in this kingdom is to deny yourself. The secret of greatness in this kingdom is to live for others. Mm. But they are teaching them the opposite. It's all about you. Mm. So the I that you overthrew when you got saved, they are now putting him back. So that I, you are now the center of your life. And everything you have is all about, worshiping that I. Mm. And even using God to help you worship him and provide for the I. Mm. I don't know if you are getting the gist of the message, that the whole core message is God is love. Mm. God is not selfish. Mm. If we know him, we will not be selfish. If we love him, we will not be selfish. If we understand the way he operates, who he is, we will not be selfish. Mm. Selfishness belongs to Satan. He said, I will arise. I will, Lucifer. I will go up. I will. That is what churches are now doing. Churches are now a picture of what Lucifer does. Mm. Churches are no more a representation of who God is. I would like to hear your own comment on all this.
One scripture that really gave me a huge time understanding was the story of the man in the Bible who worked so hard and he had so many fruits. I mean, he had so many products. And it was like, I worked so hard now, and there is no space for me to store my produce. I don't know if you know that story. Yeah. So I worked so hard. Now I have a lot of fruits that I have for myself. Now let my soul find rest that I would. So the whole story.
Let me now take pleasure in my possession.
So, and the Bible said that God said, foolish. You fool, mm-hmm. that today that life will be taken away from you. I didn't get that story because I was like, but this guy worked hard for himself. He got all of these things for himself. But why is it that God is saying he's a fool? Then I understood, because I began to read in between the texts, and I understood that the reason why God referred to that guy as a fool was because he was leaving everything for himself. He was not thinking about how what he has made will be a blessing to other people. So it was...
Because wealth, the purpose of wealth is not for self. Anything, any blessing you have, if you marry, it shouldn't be for self. Yeah. If you have children, it shouldn't be for self. But when you hear those stories about children, I had one child before, or 2 children before, and I couldn't have many more children anymore. And I began to pray. I came to GO, I came to church, that I can't have more children anymore. You have 2 already. You cannot have more children. What is the problem? Oh, and then I wanted to die. You should have died for you to realize in heaven that... I wanted to even ask the question. These children that you are all giving birth to, what is the purpose? Yeah, do you even know what is the purpose? Do you even know why you are giving birth to those children? Anyway, you continue your story. I'm sorry.
So when I understood that scripture, then I understood that the end of selfishness is destruction. That any attempt to live for yourself, I mean, like you said, any attempt to just be self-centered, wanting to gain everything for yourself, living for yourself. This is for me, about me, and you are the center of your life, and everything is revolving around you, it will end in destruction. And that was the moral of the story. That was what Jesus was teaching, that life should not be lived for self. And this is how we see it in most of the testimonies. I mean, viewers would recognize, would if they've been in church, they will realize that many of the testimonies in church are all self-centered. For example, you hear someone come to give a testimony that, you see, I was traveling from Lagos to Ibadan Express Road, and then there was a very bad accident, and like up to everybody died in the bus, but only me escaped.
The God of winners.
And the God of winners
has helped me.
Delivered me.
It is because I'm a redeemer.
I'm a redeemer. But and I'm like, no, you just said everybody died.
What are you rejoicing about?
But self.
People don't care about anybody else. This is what churches have preached. This is what churches are preaching in Africa.
So it's all about self, and that's what they sell. That is the selling point.
Selling point.
That's the selling point
for the churches.
Yeah, that's the selling point. It's all about. I mean, let's look at even the names that they use to tag the programs.
Okay.
It's your night of my night of breakthrough, my night of wonders, my night of signs, my night of taking what belongs to me. Just to raise the whole idea of Christianity, the whole idea of believing in Jesus has been forfeited.
Is the opposite.
The opposite.
The direct opposite of who God is.
Yes.
Of what Christianity is all about.
The intention of God was that when you believe in Jesus, you dethrone yourself. I mean,
you just remove yourself to the
from
second
the equation.
Yeah, and begin to live for God and not than for people.
But now it's it's even plainly written in the scriptures in Corinthians that if one person died for all, then everybody that lives should live for him. But that's the opposite we see now.
Everybody is living for themselves. Pastors are hating them and helping them,
giving them. The messages are focused on them. Everything, even the declarations. You hear declarations. The declarations about tonight is your night. You're going to get this tonight. It's all about me.
They are breeding greed. They are destroying, and greed always will destroy. Selfishness will always destroy. Yeah. So they are destroying our country,
destroying our value system. You know, I was going to say this in my upcoming show. You see, I watched a video of a very young child. This guy should be less than 10 years old. And they asked this guy that what do you want to be in future? Do you know what this boy said? He said he wants to be a 419 guy.
He said Yahoo. Yeah, I want to be
Yahoo. Yeah. I want to be a Yahoo guy.
Yeah, first of all, the message.
Yeah. And I'm like, this guy, I don't know if he's a Christian or he's not a Christian, but this is the value system that is being propagated in church. And you might ask how? This is it. Gaining something from nothing. Wanting to just, this is you. So that guy is not even thinking about how he can be of benefit to...
No, even the bishops thinking of how they could be benefit. They are rather using people for their own benefit.
Yeah.
How can you see what the bishop will say? We want to build these acres of land. This sitting, no church in the world. People are in that church.
And they are suffering.
I know for a fact, I know for a fact pastors in that church who cannot pay their school fees. My friends are sending money from England, from America to these pastors so that they will be able to send their children to school in Winners Chapel. They are pastors of Winners Chapel. And Redeemed too. I know right now a Redeemed pastor in America who is dying of cancer, and he cannot raise the money. They are saying everybody should be gathering $5 naira or $5 to help it. You know, they are building, they are giving offering for 1 billion. At the same time, they are building, they are building their empires. And ego. Or you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I get it, because that's it. what would make a person already have that big building? You might see it's
He's
just,
not even thinking about people who
No.
cannot afford to go to school,
at all
who cannot eat
hungry.
in this same church.
People that are hungry, they can't even afford. They can't even afford one meal. They can't even afford one meal. I think we just saw the recent statistics that Nigeria has the highest level of poverty. That means an average Nigerian is not even living above $1.
And we are taking what structure? We are
looking at
cement and brick.
It's pathetic.
I would have been okay if they are not Christians. Let them not be Christians. Let them just be ordinary human beings. But they are saying they are Christians now. That's what I don't understand.
Did you hear his statement? His statement was, I'm talking about Bishop Oyedepo, that there is no church ever in history that has built that capacity.
When people in your church cannot eat.
Cannot eat. So his own goal is to build a cathedral.
Something that nobody
has done. I'm like, what's wrong?
or university or something.
When people are there.
Or something they call 3 by 3 kilometer.
3 kilometer by 3 kilometers.
Yeah, that's what it's to do.
That's the latest. That's what everybody's trying to do now. All of those pastors now, he's just trying to just build one big capacity, 500,000.
Where there are 10 million children out of school in Nigeria.
Crazy.
10 million. When you and your friends, Victor, Babishaye, Abiola, how many children? You have taken more than 30 children
out of school, even
out of the street.
Presently, even feeding people
every day.
Yeah, the last time we went out, we fed close to 40 people, and these are children gathering every Sunday close to churches, wanting to eat.
And church is just going to have
fun. And these people, they are coming. These children, they go around those churches hoping to get food.
And churches are just gyrating.
They're just having a slow time there.
You see, selfishness. Don't go. Where?
Yeah, I'm here.
Love is not selfish. Why? Because God is not selfish.
Yeah.
When we become less selfish, you become more like God. When you become less selfish, you begin to understand God better. Love is not selfish. He said, let nothing be done through selfish ambition and conceit. Is it the description of your church in Africa?
This is exactly it.
But in lowliness of mind, let each esteem others better than himself. Is that what's happening in the church?
It's just like
they are
just like this.
They are golico or whatever you call it. Opposite.
Directly opposite.
Is it not in the Bible? Or maybe it's not in the African Bible?
You know what I was thinking about? That these things are in the scriptures.
Are you sure?
Pastor, this is Philippians. It's in the Bible. Philippians 2. Philippians 2:3. Let nothing be done through selfish ambition.
But pastors.
And Bishop wants to build a 100,000 capacity building.
Where the people cannot go to church.
They can't go to school. They can't eat well. They're not even well dressed.
Orphans.
In need.
Widows. And then you see what God said, but
in lowliness of mind, let each esteem others better than himself.
So Bishop is supposed to be esteeming and exalting who?
These members.
Better
than himself.
Do you ever see that in any African church?
Nothing close. Nothing close. Nothing.
So God is talking his own. His disciples are doing their own.
They're doing their own.
Bible they talk his own. And believers in Africa are doing their own.
I mean, when you make a statement like there is no church in Nigeria, people think you're just being outrageous, and they think they're just saying you're just being. But these guys don't know God.
They don't have an idea.
God
is total opposite. God is total opposite from what they are doing.
And some folks will come and be saying, but these ones, they've been in ministry for 15 years. Who cares? This is just something simple. Let nothing be done through selfish ambition. This is what
black and white.
Just plain here. I don't need to even be 15 years in ministry to know this.
Then see another one there. Look at this one.
Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends.
So those pastors who are
Is the members that are laying down their life, Pastor. This scripture is only valid for the members. They are the ones laying down their lives for their slave masters, and that's the truth. They are the ones laying down their lives for the slave masters.
the 10,000, 20,000 members.
Yes,
They are laying down
their life for just one slave master.
for one bishop.
Yes, that's what is happening. Oh, how come on.
But the pastors are the ones who are spiritual now. They are the ones who are supposed to be laying down their whole life for people.
As leaders.
Yeah.
Yes, but nope, that's not how it is. And that's the truth.
You know what one banker told me in Nigeria?
Yeah.
This banker said, he's a banker in Lagos. He said, Pastor Sunday, he told me that Ibiomoye has this one in his account. Adeboye, he has this how many accounts, but his own main account are not visible. But these ones, he has the ones that are visible, he has this amount there, he has this amount there. These people are billions upon billions. And this pastor said, the reason why he's telling me this banker said, he's paying me. I said, what did they pay you there? He said it's not that they have the money. He said, but the people, what those billions that those people are having, it is unbelievers, the Alhajis, and unbeliever Christians, unbeliever businessmen, that they give the authorization to come and be running, to come. They give them to go and multiply the money for them, to go and be doing business with the money. Church members need loan, they need assistance, they will also give it back, but they won't give, but unbelievers, womanizers, these are the people coming to take the money of this church. Now, but that is one thing. But he said what killed him even more than that is that when he's going in his car home after work, he knows how much billion that for the rest of the life of those GOs, that money would not even be touched. He said, still, when he's going to home, he's seeing all those members of those churches, Redeemed, Winners, all those churches, tattered. Old women, young girl, tattered, hungry. They will be going for evangelism. They are going for evangelism from morning to night. Some of them are waking up 5 o'clock in the morning to go and do evangelism. They are hungry, they don't eat. Where they are stashed amount of money, billions of money stacked there in the hotels, and the Muslims and the unbelievers and the womanizers and the
using the money.
Yeah.
This is so sad.
And they are going to do evangelism, looking for the favor of God. That God will send them money to eat.
God. No. This is a huge disservice. This is just terrible. This is so terrible. And the thing about it is that the sad thing is the Stockholm syndrome that we have.
They just believe that those people are the saints. They are even next to God.
That's the problem.
They are the ones who will be fighting you now.
They will
be fighting me.
Yes.
For telling them the truth of what is happening.
And that's the truth. Those GOs, those guys can never suffer for any day in their lives.
No, we are even saying they don't know what to do with the money. The banker is saying the problem with them now is they don't know what to
do with that money.
So they are now finding unbelievers, sinners, to just do something they want to do with it.
Okay.
And some of them are just just messing up with the money. These are the $2, $1. They are those poor people, hungry people. They will not eat. They will be paying first tithe or what they call it.
First fruit.
First fruit.
Wow. No.
They don't pay. In Lagos, they don't pay house rent. And then they are molesting them and they are taking it to church.
It's very sad. And people are hungry. People are suffering. People are suffering. This is just sad. No. The church in Nigeria does not know God.
They don't have an idea.
They don't know. No, not at all.
If you are going to look at characteristics of God,
Not at all.
they are just going the other direction. God is going this way, our people are going that way.
Not at all.
And people are fanatically going there, devoted to them. Deception. What deception can do. That's why Jesus himself said, beware of deception. Don't let anyone deceive you.
I think, I don't know, dear viewers, I think you just need to share this video to everyone. I just wish everybody can just be here and just, even if you don't even believe it, just hear it. You understand? Because sometimes it might take you to come to that realization that this is the truth. But at least let it pass through your ears. Let it be that at least you got an idea that these people are milking you dry. And they are even destroying you because they are
what they are practicing is not Christianity.
It's not Christianity.
Christianity is love, mercy, service, kindness, denying yourself,
putting others above
yourself.
But this is nothing close to what we see. This is nothing close.
It's the opposite. The thing they go opposite. So he says, greater love has no one than this. So if those pastors and those bishops have love, let them show it now.
Yeah.
Are they not the GGOs?
Yeah.
The greater love is supposed to be from them, and how they is supposed to be manifested by how much they give of their. They are all using all these cars, all these computers, all these. But let them lay now. Let them show me.
Yes.
In all these plays, all these things, let them lay now. Let them down and let us see. Love will not walk in bitterness. Love is quick to forgive. Matthew 5:16 says, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good, not the cathedral, not the universities, or your good works, and glorify your Father who is in heaven.
Something just came to my mind that these guys they're not nice. These people are wicked. They are evil.
They are wicked.
No,
it's not just that they don't know God. I think they are even
wicked.
Yeah,
they are wicked because with the amount of money that is in these churches,
those churches,
just with that amount of money, we should not have anybody
poor person in any town.
There should not be any. With those monies, there should not be anybody in Nigeria that is saying that I cannot get education.
Yeah.
There should not be any child,
and they will be bragging that they have more money than the state, than the government.
There should not be any. If their focus is on good works,
let them be competing, not for membership, not for cathedral,
but good works. No, Nigeria will be a different story. Do you know how many people are dying daily? How many accidents are happening because of the terrible roads? The money from these cathedrals can solve all the road issues. Just tell government forget. Redeem will settle all the roads. We are going to make all of the roads movable. It will settle all of the. You go to Nigeria, you see the roads there.
Even at least the road in front of your church,
area.
The
Lagos-Ibadan expressway.
If the federal government just put money for it, if not for the federal government, nothing will be done.
And how many people die? The rate of accident on that road. There are many good works that can be done, Pastor. Some people say they can't do so much because they don't have the money. But that's not the case of these churches. They have excess.
Yeah. Like I said, the budget, the money. In fact, there is a statistic now that the top 10 churches in Nigeria, they have more money than the federal government budget.
Even the list of the richest pastors in the world.
It confirms it. Even richer than the Americans.
Even the people from Germany, from Australia.
They are nowhere.
These people, they've done a good job stealing from Nigeria.
They overtake everybody.
Yes.
Nigerian pastors. We are the people and the poorest.
It's just. That anybody that can think should just imagine. Nigeria has the highest level of poverty.
Poorest people
in the world, and their pastors.
Not even politicians, though. Their pastors are the richest in the
Their
world.
pastors are the richest in the world.
Better than even the rich countries.
That shows where money is going from.
And where money is going
It's
to.
going to. So money is going from those masses.
And they are remaining poor.
And they are going poor.
Poorer.
And then the money is going directly to
those pastors.
And that's the reason why they are don't tell me because of some business they're doing. Nope.
They are collected the people. Because if you are the one giving to me all the time,
Well,
you'll be poor now.
Yes.
And if I'm the one collecting from you. Yeah. So the money is still in the circulation.
Yes.
Only is leaving the masses.
I'm going to this.
Yeah.
And that's it. And even if those men of God even had understanding of good works,
no, they will every Christmas.
They will share. They are gaining close to $1 billion in a year, and they will just go and share $100,000, and they will say it's work. And then some of the members will say, but look at what our church did. Our church shared rice to 500 people, or shared rice to see. Come and see the small road at our church. Did you guys kidding me? Do you know how much you guys get?
Thereby releasing themselves and the enemy from bondage. Okay. I want to see another scripture here. Let's read this one.
Matthew 10:37. He who loves father or mother more than me is not worthy of me, and he who loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me.
So the thing we should be loving more is
God.
But in all these testimonies, my child, my pregnancy, my son. Let's see one of those. I think we have another. Is it another one of the Jews talking about the testimonies? Okay.
Pastor,
they are being taught to love all things, else apart from Him.
Apart from God.
So those things that God said, don't love hope.
That's what you should love. Hope.
That's what pastors are saying you should love. You go to church to learn to love those things.
Yeah. And that's what makes a lot of people actually end up, depressed. Because they get to lose it. Because the Bible says, whatever you try to keep, it's just a principle. Whatever you try to keep, you lose it. And that's why many of them, they lose their children, they lose their jobs, and then they get disillusioned. And they're just depressed because, but this is what I've been trying to keep all these years. And I thought I was going to come to God for me to help to keep these things. So they come to God thinking God is going to help them in keeping those things, and they don't know that that's the principle. Whatsoever you try to keep, you lose. So they end up losing it, and many of them like, this God is not real.
Wow. Let's have a look at one of these other testimonies here.
My name is Philip Fubara. My testimony is on divine intervention. I was imprisoned in 2013 for election malpractice. I never knew Christ, but as I began to hear Papa in the Port Harcourt prison, even on screen and the outreach ministers, I keyed into the praises and I began to praise God. And yesterday, I gave my life to Christ, began to praise God. And this week, God raised somebody who I never knew, came and perfected my bill and set me free. Without paying any money, I want to return all the glory to God.
My name is Oluchi Davis. My testimony is on protection. I traveled to Aba, Ariara. On our way coming back, reaching at Inye Junction, our bus got accident, and immediately 4 people died. I remember that Papa said there shall be no loss. I keyed into it. I say I will not die. Then they rushed us to hospital. After them, 5 more people died. But I stand here today to return glory to God, the Ezebube, who restored my life.
My name is Priest Kalada Allison. I have been on medicated glasses for over 12 years now. And after coming to church on Thursday, I had a communion and I bought Power in the Name of Jesus. And I went home, I was reading it without my glasses. And right now I can drive without my glasses. I can read comfortably without my glasses.
My name is Carlo Mabel. My testimony is God's favor and healing. God's favor, my former place of work, never gave me the privilege to serve God the way I wanted. So I met Pastor Bismo. He said I should just pick the service unit form, which I did. And I dropped my resignation later at my former place of work. That same day on my way to church, I got a call from a place I never applied for to come for an interview. And when I got there for the interview didn't hold. She just gave me the job. And since then, I've been enjoying God's favor. And also, I've been able to serve God the way I wanted. I return the glory to God. And on healing, I've been using inhaler like all my life. So during June, week of spiritual empowerment, I told God I don't want to use inhalers anymore. And I got this quickening to trash all the inhalers I had. I got home, I trashed all of them. And since June to this moment, I've not had need for an inhaler.
So, what is wrong with these testimonies? No.
It's still self, sir.
Huh?
Everything is still coming down to self.
Self-centered.
Everything. But
Self-centeredness.
everything is about self.
The gospel of self.
That's it.
In fact, the gospel in Africa should be renamed the gospel of self.
It's all about self. It's really all about self. All of the testimony, there is none of talking about how, how God used them to, cause an expanse in the kingdom or something like that. Nope. Everything was all about self, starting from the first guy to the last guy. And even some of those testimonies, like, I didn't even know they were going to talk about the accidents.
It was like you were saying.
Yeah, no, like what I was saying. And this was the accident testimony. And people are going to be saying, hey, thank God, thank God, thank God, he saved you. But one person, she mentioned 9 people died. God save one person. But I'm not even using 9 people. People don't even recognize it. The only thing they say about the 9 people, but that one person that was escaped, thank God, thank God, thank God.
They are church members now.
Because they're church members. Self. Or this lady, this beautiful lady too, that she didn't send her resume and they called her from.
And because she wants to work less. She doesn't want to work. She wants to work less so that she will go to church to serve.
To be attending church. Then
that is serving God, attending church.
When she was working, didn't allow her to go for her church activities, and she resigned. But how do we?
Someone will go and also resign without getting.
So when she didn't apply, they got her into the place, and then she's enjoying divine favor. She didn't even have an interview. So now people listen to this testimony. No merit. So people in this testimony now, God, I don't even need anything.
So God is just like no due process.
Yeah.
God is just God that against rules, against standards, against due process, against qualification, against merit.
So
against processes.
This is just all selfish. This should be so crystal clear to everyone. Just go and sit down. You're going to have a whole great deal just hearing self.
What about the handsome guy also with the glasses?
That's a catastrophe.
You are a medical doctor. I think you tell us what they happen for that one. The guy don't throw it away. But I have known a lot of guys like that who threw away their specs, their glasses, and now they are back. Only they didn't have money immediately to buy a new. So they have to work like 2 years or half a year without glasses and losing everything, or eating their head and nose. And before they go back, I think I will go and get this.
I think as a matter of fact, it comes with the lack of knowledge. What is there's no stigma in you having a pair of glasses. That you wearing a pair of glasses doesn't even make you less of. It doesn't even mean anything. So, but because of the whole self wanting something miraculous to happen, you understand? Just wanting something for yourself, just for yourself. And then you had your glasses, you threw it away, and now you can drive. What is the guarantee?
You return back to it in half a year or 2 years.
Well,
okay, maybe it could be a miracle, but
it could, but that's not even, that shouldn't even be like
it's a big deal.
What's the big deal?
It's all about self. Well, let's look at another video here. Maybe we could learn some more lessons from another one here.
I came in 2015 firstly as an international visitor. Since from then, things were not moving before. But since from then, God has been with me. Today is my 12th as an international visitor coming here. Before I know God of Major One, things were not moving well in my life, in my family. I had an electrical business as an electrical contractor in my hometown, Sheffield. Things were not moving. I was driving Skolokolo cars. Things were bad. People were talking a lot of things. But since I came as an international visitor and met God of Major One, has changed my life tremendously. A lot of things that happened to me. God has blessed me with so many things. Firstly, He blessed me with a car, Mercedes A45 AMG. I am a sport cars fan, but God also did something also again. He gave me 2 houses, the one in town, the one in my I love God of Nature One.
You what?
I build cash these houses. The other one
We'll continue your testimony. So car, house, go ahead.
God of Nature One is so amazing. I love God of Nature One. The only thing that mostly when I meet Papa, when we saying what we wish, mostly I tell Papa I love him. Because I understand there is something that is happening. Mostly we go to Nyanga, and when we're supposed to go to God, we count how many we come. People, they waste their things going to Nyanga. But since I met God of Major One, has changed my life. God has blessed me with a beautiful creature in the world. My wife, Tabangile, she's there.
So, what would all the unbelievers here in Europe who have houses, bigger houses, or who they buy house left, right, and center, cars? I mean, people buy cars on credit and all right, left, right, and center. So what do we say about, what would they be doing? Eh? Okay, what do we say about this one testimony here?
This is also sad. First, let me first tell you that, do you know, there are many of these testimonies, they are screened before they come out.
Okay. They even prepare the photograph.
That's a proof for you. I've heard stories of people wanting to give testimonies and they are denied of coming out to give the testimony.
It's not powerful enough.
Yes. And many of these testimonies, you come, you tell the testimony, oh, this one is no good, go away. This one is good.
He was saying something, the God of
Major One.
Is it Major One? It's not pronounced like that? I thought it was saying Machakwasha.
It's the God of Major One.
Major One.
That's Bushiri. But it's just crazy that
I was
people
surprised to say Bushiri there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, you have a car, you have a house, you got married. What achievement is that? I mean,
it's ego.
It's
Everything is about ego. It's all about ego. Me.
And they prepared the photos.
Yeah.
Just raising
Selfishness. That's why we must get that. You remember I advertised a book about love. What is it called? Ayo Akerele.
Akerele.
What's the name of
Driven
the
by
book?
love.
Driven by love. I think, but all these books, are they driven by love?
No. Myself. Myself.
We need to send that book to Nigeria. Driven by self. We need, this one is, instead of driven by love, we need to send that book to Africa and we need to teach believers all over again on how to be driven by love.
And look at the response from the church. People are just so excited. Saying when will my own time come too?
So the gospel of self.
Yeah. Just all about me.
You want us to hear something again? Okay, they want us to hear another story. I think she has a lot of them.
That's the status quo.
I was thinking I should just run over.
Praise the Lord. Amen. We are Mr. and Mrs. Samuel Petu. We got married in 2009, and after we got married, I conceived and the pregnancy disappeared. That was when I knew that there was a problem. In between 2009 and 2011, I had nothing less than 6 miscarriages. I was asked to forget about anything baby. When I came to Shiloh 2011, I reluctantly walked into the father and mother of all nation class without anything, just to mark register. When I got there, Mama said, you are too young to be stressed. I said, this is my word because I don't like stress. So I stepped into the world, January to June, nothing happened. I told God, Shiloh is coming, confirm your word. In July, I conceived, and in April, I gave birth to my first child. After 2 months, I took in again. And I brought the pregnancy to Shiloh. Before then, there was a Shiloh pre-counter service, which I didn't attend. A family friend came to the house and said, Papa declared that 3 months, too much, double portion. I keyed into it. When I came to Shiloh, I had no prayer request than 3 months, too much, double portion. I started praying, and in my 9th month, it was just a baby, a boy that was seen. Till the day of delivery, I delivered my first child. That was my son, and they said, congratulations. I said, no. Papa said, it's double portion. They said, madam, I'm going to clean you up. Please, congratulations. I said, double portion. He said, to satisfy your conscience, push. And I pushed, my baby girl came out. I came to return the glory to God. His name is Samuel, because I asked him from the Lord, and this is my precious burial. Praise God.
Lift your hand to Jesus Christ, the God of Shiloh. Praise the Lord.
I don't maybe somebody will comment, no?
Double portion. My name is Joseph Wahid from LFC.
I don't understand it.
Maybe you want to help us out there. What's happening?
I mean, what happened?
I don't understand.
Was there an ultrasound? And how many children with?
You are a medical doctor. That you are the ask.
Like, I'm trying to understand how.
You are the medical doctor.
Yes.
So how is it that a medical doctor?
I don't know.
A whole hospital. We say there is only one child there, and then you have given birth.
And he said just to satisfy your conscience, push,
and
then
from
you push
nowhere,
and
there is no something, no ultrasound. What are the processes of going to?
You know, even prior, before getting to the 9th month, during the prenatal care, you go for several checkups, and from those checkups you do ultrasound, and from the ultrasound they tell you how many babies you have, either 1 or 2, and then even during the birth process, during the delivery process, when the doctor delivers the first child, you understand? You don't just clean up. There are stuff that you do to the.
What about the umbilical cord? Is the umbilical cord with the first child or the second?
Oh, second child.
So if they have cut it and they want to kill her off, the umbilical side is supposed to remain with the second one. Yeah.
So that's what I'm like, how will you just say because Papa said double portion? I'm like, what is this? So he said double portion.
So it's the same with the same thing. Papa could also said pregnant without you sleeping with a man. You don't need to sleep with a man. Papa said now.
Yeah.
I stand on the double
3 months. I don't know if she will say
double portion.
Yeah, 3 months, 2 months, double portion, something like that.
So it's a mystery for you.
As now I'm shocked. What do you mean? I'm like, who is that doctor? We should even slap him.
That doctor?
Yes, doctor. How would you? No, you don't just. No, you don't just close up. You don't just. There are things that are done. Even when the doctor is done, the midwives are there also to take care of it. So are you trying to say that the doctor forgot that there's a baby there or what? Or after the first delivery, then it does not add up. Because there's a way we even check the presence of children. It's called the Leopold's maneuver, that we can
even without the ultrasound.
Without ultrasound, we can know how many. You can know the position of the child, where the child laying. We can discover that from the palpation, from palpating the woman's. We can know, this is one child here, this is another child here. A child is not a small needle that is inside the uterus of the mother, and that we cannot recognize it. That's a 9-month-old baby. It's obvious. That's a baby that is weighing close to.
Okay, you could still say when they are 1 month.
Yes.
2 months or 3 months.
That's weighing close to 3.5 kilograms. That's like the average.
Oh.
Yeah, an average weight of it.
3 kilograms.
3.5 kilograms. That's the average weight of a baby. Normal baby. That's not just one small thing now. Come on. So you just say because it's double portion, then just one magic happened. They said just push, just to justify your conscience. Come on now. Don't we have thinking human beings in this place?
And then she said also about how is it that she didn't know. Nobody told her previously that she's having twins.
Yes.
And she said, I'm not going to stand up. No, I refuse.
It's either she knew that she had twins, but for me, it's even telling me something about the whole medical system, because, if she knew she had twins, how did she know she had twins? Is it because of what pastor said, or she done ultrasound? And even the doctors, you don't just... No, the story doesn't make...
No, but the thing they are trying to sell to us is that the baby was not there.
And they just
that
appeared.
Only at that point. When she said, what is it? Papa said.
Yeah, Papa said so. Yeah, double portion.
Yeah, so Papa said double portion. I think the baby just came from nowhere. Yeah. So he didn't have 9 months at all to prepare. The baby just had 9 seconds, maybe.
To just show
up and appear.
But come on. We're in trouble. And then the papas are also saying that, wow.
Yeah, we are powerful.
Wow. We said it.
Yeah. Egocentrism. All of them are egocentric.
I mean, if these people, their brain is, there are some testimonies that are meant to like come. Is that a testimony? They're meant to even question some of those testimonies. You know, if their brain is working, they're meant to question many of these things. But no, it's like this one. I was like, and even some of her stories between 2009, 2011, she had 6 miscarriages. How?
From?
She said she had
what?
2009, 2011.
2 years.
Yeah.
In 2 years, 6 miscarriages. So she was getting pregnant
in an average of 6 months.
Yeah, every 6 months. Maybe it's possible. It's just like doing abortion.
Well, it's crazy. I mean, I know the psychological impact of having a one miscarriage.
Okay.
You know, you don't just go, you don't take in. Carrying a child for 6 months, then you lose the child. Nah. You take no. You don't just. I mean, you can't take him back to back and have miscarriages like that. No.
But she also just had a baby, and then 2 months later she got pregnant for another one too. So everything about her is miraculous.
No, this is just. I mean, it does not add up. It does not add up. It's just. No, it does not.
They are fooling people. But the whole push is for people to know that. But it's all these miracles are still egocentric.
Yes.
That we can do it, we can give you miracles. And then it's so, why can't they become testimonies of people becoming something?
Yeah.
Why is there people we talk testimony about people fulfilling
purpose? People doing things.
Yeah.
For the kingdom.
Yeah.
Changing the society. Yeah. Changing the nation. Those testimonies, no. It's just testimonies about some supernatural.
You get something, you have to get something, receive something
for yourself. So we have.
Do you have the notes? I think I'm tired with these Nigerian people. I think we should just open the telephone line if you people don't mind. I think I'm done. So you got the message. I think you people got the message. The message is, love is not selfish. But we have a question here. After my yesterday's message, somebody was asking a question.
Okay.
And we addressed it a little bit in Ask. But I would like to address it for people, maybe the person here will listen to it. The question is, can you make it bigger? Because after yesterday, I was talking about truth, that, people can come to God through truth. He said, what truth are you talking about? This from yesterday's message. Because Muslims, Buddhists, etc. also have their truth. What do you mean by the truth? Okay, first of all, I would like to say the truth I was talking about yesterday is Jesus. Jesus is the truth. But what I'm talking about is that Jesus says he is the way, the truth, and the life. Jesus is the truth means, Jesus is saying himself. Can you come, please? Let me help me to come and preach. Yeah. Jesus is saying, look at me. Mm-hmm. I am the way, the truth, and the life. So the way is the way we already know it. Come out to receive Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Mm-hmm. We Christians, we know him as the way. But say, I'm not only the way, but I'm also the truth. Okay, so my answer to these people who are asking is that the truth I'm talking about is not, I'm not saying that anybody will be born again. Everybody can just come to God, even if they are Buddhists or they are Muslims or something. No, I'm only saying, Jesus said, through me you can only come to God. And I am what? I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life, I am love, I'm light. So through me. But he didn't say I'm only the way. But what we know is that the way we know is to receive him as Lord and Savior. But he's saying that apart from that, don't just put me in that box that I'm only the way. Some people will get to know me through the truth, but they are still getting to know him. Some people will get to know him through love, but they are still getting to know him. So at the end of the day, you can't come to God unless through Christ. But Christ could lead you, could appear to you. You could discover Christ not just as religion, as the way. So what I was talking about yesterday is that Jesus Christ is the truth Imagine him without religion. Can you? I think most people cannot imagine God without religion. People don't realize that God is not religious. People don't even realize that Jesus is not religion. That Jesus didn't start Christianity. That Jesus transcends religion. Jesus transcends Christianity. That is why he said, I'm not just religion the way that you know. I am more than that. So I am also truth. So people can discover truth and discover Jesus through the truth. People can discover light and discover Jesus through the light. People can discover love and discover Jesus through the light. But it's still the same Jesus. So it is still through Jesus that we can come to God. But what I'm saying is not that you can come to anything, believe anything you want through any religion you want and come to God. What I'm trying to say is that can you try to imagine truth without religion? You will not recognize it. Most of us can only conceive God or Jesus in religious package. If you remove him from religion, it's like he's not Jesus anymore. What would you like to say about this?
That's true, because the concept that we have of someone who believes in Jesus is how we've been taught.
We've been taught.
Because for us,
one dimension.
The dimension of validating that you have been saved is that you came out for the altar call, or you were ministered to, and then you said those and you made you said the sinner's prayer. Dear Lord,
then you're a Christian.
Then you're a Christian. So now that's the perception that religion religion chose the way parts, and then they point out a way to do it that would make you feel like, okay, yeah, you are saved. But then, like you said, let's picture Jesus without that way.
Everything is lost. It's like nothing happens.
It's just like you tell someone that you don't have to be in church. You don't have to even say the sinner's prayer to validate that you are saved and you know Jesus and you're in a relationship with Jesus.
People will say no.
They cannot understand. But there's someone who, because Jesus is the embodiment of truth, like you said. And there are people that believe in Jesus because they discovered the truth
through another way.
And they didn't do it through our religious way. They
might not even know.
They might not even know about
they have released Jesus. They don't even know that's what you are talking, because it's a different terminology.
Exactly. So, but our own stereotyped way is the only way I can certify or I can judge that you are born again is because you said, and they ask you that when was the day you were born again? I was born on this day because I said the sinner's prayer on this day. But there's another person there that did not even use your own approach.
He didn't even go to church.
He didn't even go to church.
And he's still going to heaven.
And he's going to heaven.
Like the thief.
By the side of Jesus. And even the question is, this thing we're talking about is not, you are the one having a relationship with Jesus. So how can I even estimate you? You're
not my own personal relationship.
It's your relationship with God now.
So what to concern you?
How can I judge and even know
if I'm having it or not?
But it's because
you live for my heart.
Yeah, it's a heart. But this is just because religion. This is what religion has caused. It has made us think that until you come out for the altar call, after you come out for the altar call, then the bishop or the pastor now says the sinner's prayer, and then you repeat the sinner's prayer, then you feel saved. Like now you have believed in Jesus. And anyone who does not go through that same process that religion has taught you is not saved. But Jesus is saying that I am the way. You can that's your own way is not wrong. It's okay, you can do it like that.
Yeah.
But I'm also the truth. I'm also love. There's no one that functions in love, that would not discover God.
That even said, anybody that knows love knows God. And God he has been born of. He knows God and is born of God.
He does not have to come to your church. That's what Christians don't understand.
Or sinner's prayer.
Or he doesn't have to say the sinner's prayer. Jesus is the truth. Anyone that walks by the truth has fellowship with me. That's what the Bible says. He who walks in the light, he who walks in the truth, is in fellowship with me. So if there's anybody that walks and lives in the truth, even if he has not stepped his leg into any church, even if he has not even said any, even if he does not have a pastor, even if he has not even paid any
If I not have even opened the Bible before.
Before, that's the point. but a religious man cannot grasp this.
Well, so I hope I answered the question of that person that is asking. And I want to say, if you want to call, please go to Facebook Messenger and look for Move Agents, Matic, Move Agents, and say you would like to call. That is Facebook Messenger, Move Agents. There is a word I've always been saying. People write it all the time. I never knew this word when I was in Nigeria. I don't know, is it a Nigerian word? Is it, they call it lobaton?
Okay, lobaton. Lobaton is, you don't finish.
Lobaton. What language is that? Is Yoruba language?
Yeah.
Lobaton.
Yeah.
I hear people write it all the time. Is that a Yoruba word?
It's lobaton.
Lobaton. Is it an original Yoruba word?
Yeah, lobaton.
Okay. Hello?
Hello?
Yes. Who is calling, please? Hello?
Hello?
Yes. Please, can you talk to the microphone? Speak into the microphone. Hello?
This is Idorian.
Yes, can you speak into the microphone? It's so... Okay, louder, please.
Hello, DSA. Can you hear me?
Are you having some whatever?
Bluetooth.
No Bluetooth.
Your voice was louder before now. The other times you called.
Can you hear me?
We are trying, but no, we can hear you somehow, but no problem. Just go ahead and talk.
Okay. Hello, DSA. Good evening, DSA family. I'm Idorian from Manchester.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this truth series.
Now your voice is coming out.
Love series.
Now it's better.
Yeah. I just called to say thank you so much. Today's topic with Dr. Anu. Dr. Anu, you're doing a good job. Because looking at everything and all the video, we're just watching and I'm like saying, this is so true because everything about self is about self. It is selfishness. Selfishness, selfish intention, selfish actions. Everything in the African church is all about self. And DSA, hello?
Yeah, we are hearing you very well.
I want to appeal, is there any way we can have HMT for the youth? Because this truth, to be honest with you, should be, our youth should be the ones, I think they really need this truth. Our youth, most of us are elderly, yes, we've grown but the youth that are coming up, the young ones, we really need to find a way to get them young because they are still young, as we say. They still got their complete faculty. They are not really brainwashed yet. They're still asking questions. They are the ones that should be directed right. I don't know what you think about it. I don't know how we can get the youth, mostly the youth of our country, Nigeria, to be involved, or mostly the youth, the younger generation, because they are the ones that will really take up this truth that you're teaching us and run with it. And I'm just thinking about ways that we can get
the way to do it is this. All of you, someone like you, Idoreye, and other people who might be interested in organizing youth HMT. We did one last year. The thing we need you to do is to coordinate it. We need volunteers who will coordinate with other parents because we just need enough. Normally, we don't have enough people coming, and then it's not worth it. So if we are going to be able to have 30 children together to come, between 30 to 50, then we can do it. So go ahead and mobilize people. And people who are hearing you on the program right now could also, go ahead and register. You can register. Anybody who is ready should go to my blog and register. Sunday Adelaja blog /visit. SundayAdelajablog.com/visit. SundayAdelajablog.com/visit. We just need as many parents as possible to mobilize other parents. Maybe you can mobilize 10. Maybe another person now can mobilize 10. So maybe you should mention your telephone or your email or your name, or you write it on the comments so that people could get in touch with you and you could coordinate among yourselves. Anybody that really wants.
Okay,
yes.
I'm going to do that because I just have this leading that the youth, the children needs to hear this truth because they will run better with it when we are weak. Because this generation that is coming up should ideally hear this truth. Even if our children are in America, they are in London, it doesn't matter. It's the same system. It's the same churches. They are raising them, and they are raising them with this falsehood. So we need these children to hear this truth. And we need them to be different for us so that they can run with this truth. This is what I'm saying. Every parent that is listening to me, think about your child. If your child can hear this truth that you're hearing, think about what it will do. It will be a ripple effect. It will be a multiplier because it will really change that generation. So I am appealing. I'll put my number up. Let's come together, mobilize the youth, maybe between 15 and 21, and get them to have an HMT with DSA so that when they come back, you know what will happen. These are children who will think. These are children who will love. These are children who will change the whole country. These are children who will do exploits. So I'm appealing to parents to please. It's not all about us. The children are coming up and they are going to take over from us. Let us come together and organize HMT for the youth, and let us make it to be maybe a yearly thing. When other parents hear about it, they will be interested. So I'll put my number up there, and I'll put let's come together and mobilize children to have this HMT, please. This truth needs to go to our youth.
Some people are already writing in the comment section that they want to send their children. Maybe you get to them later on in Facebook inbox and inbox them and gather and begin to organize it. And we could be announcing it from time to time like that.
Okay.
So in summer holiday, during summer, we'll be able to organize it for all the children.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
That's a good idea, I think. And anybody that wants to send their children, you want them to come, or you want to come with your children from the age of 12 to 20 at least, or maybe to 21, from the age of 12 or 14, that's what we would like. So please write it on the comment section, or go and look for Idore's your comment, and you can get in touch with her. Hello? Hello?
Oh, hello, DSA.
Yes, sir. Is that Miles?
Yes, it's Miles.
What time is it in New Zealand now?
It's 10 minutes past 10 a.m. 10 a.m. on Sunday.
Oh, it's already Sunday in your place.
Yes.
You people are at the end of the earth, oh.
That's true. Okay. Before I contribute, DSA, the HTM is. I won't be able to make it for the April one, but hopefully I might make it for the November one.
The HMT.
Is it good? Yeah, the HMT. Sorry, yes.
Yeah. No problem.
It's okay. So my fear was that maybe before then you might be in Nigeria.
I could be. I don't know. Yeah, it's possible.
Oh, okay, but it will still hold anyway.
Then it has to hold in Nigeria in that case.
Oh. Okay. Regarding what you taught today, just to say thank you to you and the very young doctor. He contributed so much today, and then I would like to say thank you to all the DSA team there. That video you showed about the Ghanaian man, you see that his background is quite similar to most of us, even to you, DSA.
Yeah.
Started off as a journalist, and look at what selfishness did to him. It's just, love has just replaced selfishness in our churches.
Yeah, selfishness now is what people are worshiping.
Yes, so sad. Because I remember when I used to be part of this church, You know, they always send us out to go and win souls, win souls, win souls. You know, it was, you know, not knowing that the main motive was just to get people so that they can suck their money, you know. And most of the time, the people that listen to us when we go out are the homeless people that are sick, people that are begging on the street. And, you know, when they come to church, even though the message is very powerful that morning, that Sunday morning, you can see that they don't stay, they always go. They never come back because the love is not shown to them.
Yeah.
You know, this is selfishness you are talking about. You know, and I remember we members were always told, you know, I think the difference between what you teach us and what especially me, that I learned in church was that they taught us in church that we have God in us. And how do we know that we have God in us? It's by confessing that I am a success. You know, I am prosperous.
Are you serious?
God,
Yes, I never heard that before.
You say God is a prosperous God. You can't be on earth and be poor. One of the favorite saying in our church was that I can never be poor. I can never be poor. And you say it bragging, you know. Even if you are suffering, even though you don't have enough, it's a sin to say I am poor. It's a sin to say that I'm lacking. So it's and I come to your platform, and what I'm hearing is that you only have God in you when you are born of love. You know, and that is Christ. Christ is the center of our life. You know, when we have the fullness of God in us, that is when we are born of love. So it's just about selfishness. You know, I remember we even put our man of God here on TV. You know, at first I thought it was about spreading the message of God. You know, but it's about attracting people to the church. You know, so that they can so that they can take their money. So I don't know. I know that there are a lot of these. Your work, DSA, is targeting the Nigerian churches, but I think they have exported a lot overseas already, and then I think I know things are being done. But
the destruction has gone far. Eh?
It has gone far. I think it's not even about them taking money from the large mass in Nigeria. I think most of the money we give from overseas, yes, it's also going back to Nigeria.
Wow.
I remember my first day in the church I last attended. You know, the first thing the pastor was telling me and my wife was, you know, maybe he was thinking that the church was small and we were discouraged about the building. He was saying now we are going to get a very large land soon. We are going to build a very big building soon, you know. And when I became an old member in the church and I started asking questions, he couldn't even answer them, especially with the one about giving to the poor. You know, he was insisting that it's the brethren that Christ was talking about when you give, you know, to the list of these brethren was people in the church. So I can't imagine why you will pass by a poor person on the road, a beggar on the road, and even the homeless people that come to the church, we don't even show them love. And then we're talking of a big building. It's so sad. Yeah. And then I'll just make a comment about the testimony about that pillar fire.
Yes.
You know, I have met adults who were abused, who were sexually abused as children. You know, and these adults have been tied to that abuse for the rest of their life emotionally. You know, they are not productive. They are always talking about their past, and sometimes some of them end up being robbers or prostitutes. You know, and then this man is coming out to give testimony about his son that raped a 10-year-old. What happened to that 10-year-old girl? What's happening to her today? You know, does it mean that God doesn't love her? You know, this girl she's the victim here, and then, you know, somebody come up with that kind of testimony. And somebody on the platform was asking that, how did he get to America? I'm very sure the guy must have lied in his application that he has no criminal record.
Yeah.
Because this is even worse. This is worse than killing somebody to abuse a 10-year-old girl. So it's all about being selfish.
And the church is celebrating the fact that his own son, the son of our member, has been rescued. But the person whose life he has destroyed has not been rescued.
Totally destroyed.
As if God is just biased. And the small girl who is an innocent girl, is the one they are supposed to be worried about. But they are being worried. They are worrying about their own son.
Yeah,
who is
he's
the
in America now.
Who is the abuser?
He's doing well.
Yeah.
It's so sad, DSA.
Egocentrism has spoiled everything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't know if there is church left in that country again, no.
I think it's I don't know. They have not even done enough. They are exporting it overseas.
Wow.
You know, it's so sad.
Thank you, Miles.
Thank you, DSA. Yeah.
Blessings.
And thank you to everyone there.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank God for Dr. Anu today. He helped us. You could speak fluent English. Because I always have help from Tatiana, but she couldn't express herself fully. Hello?
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Okay, is that Vicky?
Yes.
From Belgium?
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. I just want to comment on the message I've been watching through the week.
Can you speak louder and speak into the mic?
Yeah, I just want to comment in the message I've been watching through the week. Very interesting. The very important of the root of everything, truth and the love.
Yeah.
But the fact that the pity that a lot of us, a lot of blacks in general, even Nigerians, they like the truth. And that's the big problem. Don't like the truth, we don't want to accept the truth. Even when we see that it's the truth, we prepare to go and at the end of the day, to go back. Because when you don't accept something, it's like not acknowledging your mistake. How can you correct it? So that is what is going on in these churches. Even when you tell people that listen, this church, look at what is happening, they don't want to accept it. They don't. That is a big challenge, a very big challenge. And that is the root of all this corruption, everything, because even all those deacons in the church, most of them, they are in the politics, in high places. If they really love the truth, and they really say they are serving God, and that love of God, that love of truth, if it's in them, they will fight for the truth with the position they are. Because they love the truth and they love God. So you cannot love God and love the truth.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter either. Because if you love God, then you must go the right way of God, which is the truth.
Yeah.
But because of these fans, because of us self-centered, they love God, show it, I love God, I go to church, and they forget about the truth, which they're supposed to use in every daily basis that they do, and they are to show that, how did you know somebody is a Christian? Nowadays, you cannot really know because everybody go to church.
Yeah.
In those days, their attitude, when you interact with them, the way they are so straightforward, the way they are so truthful, the way they are so, you can trust them. They say, that man is a Christian. You say, okay, no problem, I can trust that person. If you borrow money from me, I will get it back or anything. Just trust because you see it in them. Even let the world see heaven in your eyes. How did you see that heaven in your eyes? It's not only by a lot of people go to church, body say I'm a Christian. It's just the truth that we are missing it.
Yeah.
We are missing it. Because the way you be teaching it, I'm very stubborn, very reluctant with all the things because I can't imagine that you just go to church, they just tell you all such a thing and you just believe and do it, God will make it. The Bible said that, you cannot sleep in your bed and estimate that money should fall from heaven. It doesn't, heaven help those who help themselves.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of us, we believe that, I pray to read, God will do it. God will do it. The one I'm taking to them, God will suffer, no judge. God will suffer. I say, oh my God, open your eyes. Open your eyes. It's the same thing, all these things we be teaching. Most of us, we've had experience with a lot of it. But still, we are still there. We're still there, except those who are very smart or maybe those who have come to Europe, see the style of life here and they try to about their life and make it in another way. But most of them, even here, they still believe that. I have a girlfriend. When the pastor it's birthday of the pastor or something like that, or the pastor's children, you couldn't believe. He worked for that whole week to go and buy the shoe, buy the this thing for you. Can't believe it. You just can't imagine it. And he said, yeah, it's my pastor, he has to shine. Yes, it's your pastor, it has to shine. But you have to do your business too. I mean, we are so sometimes most of us we are educated but not educated. I will just put it. And when we see somebody really pointing out the truth, putting us to the another direction, we don't want to accept it. It pains my heart. It really hurts me because all these things you be saying and preaching, I mean, most of people they are listening to it. Most of people they know that they don't want to accept it because they think that you are not saying the right thing. Those parts they are saying the right thing because the content is good, proper, use the new English vocabulary, make it sweet, quoted. It's just a pity. But this your book, oh my God, very interesting.
What
very, very interesting.
What book?
Money will make you your network. How to create your own network.
Yes.
Oh my God. Fantastic. I swear. I was like, yeah, these are maybe you know it, but you didn't view it in that point the way you explained it. I mean, very, 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 very interesting. Very interesting. And I want to advise everybody on the platform, as they are listening to you, they should also read it. It's eye-opening. It's things that we give you more knowledge. We help you we just help you it will help you if you apply. If you really apply, as well, like this book is people who want to make things, be innovative, create something for themselves, be self-employed, or change career. Oh my God! If you read that book and you don't take anything from it, then forget about it. Really forget about it.
What book again?
Create your own network.
How to create your own network.
Yeah.
How to create your own network. Yes.
Yeah.
Create your own network. Yeah. Create your own network. Yes.
Yeah. Very, 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 very nice book. Oh my, Etwas. Oh, very nice book.
What is Etwas?
Sorry, I'm speaking Dutch. Sorry, this thing, my Dutch has spoiled my English, so sometimes I just put Dutch inside.
Oh, okay. That is Dutch, eh?
Yeah. I would like say that it truly is very interesting. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So I will advise anybody that really wants. I got that and church shifts and time. The other book about
what to do with your time?
Yeah, what you do with your time. You have to read it. You really have to read it. And I love the book because they are not so big books, you understand? So it's books you can really, just get through to. And the English is perfect. You don't have to take a whole dictionary. So it's very nice job, Pastor. You did it. You write it very perfect, very nice, deep to point. I just want to congratulate you for that too.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vicky. Blessings.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Well, we are waiting for you. Who is the other person that is there? Let's go ahead and we have another caller here. Let's hear their own comment. Hello, who is the caller? Hello. Okay. We are still waiting for the next caller. All right. Maybe we have to get another one. Okay, let's... So if you have not gotten the books, please take care. Take your time and look through the list of the books and and get them. Get the book for yourself. So the books are being shown now on the screen. Write the topic that you want and go for it. Okay. We have the next caller. Hello.
Hello, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Who is this?
This is Jeff Kiri, sir.
Yes, sir. How are you, Jeff?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well.
I want to say that you've been an inspiration to me. You've been a blessing to me. My knowledge have increased significantly since I started listening to you. I've bought about 3 of your books. 2 have arrived, and I've started reading on all of them.
Wow.
Yeah, great stuff. I think if people read your books, then they will understand the depth of your knowledge. I think what you're talking here is good, but it's very superficial compared to what you have in those books. I'm telling you, in terms of intelligence, intellectual capacity as well, it's amazing.
Yeah. So what are the books you got?
I bought 3 books. After I bought Church Shift. I brought How African Brought Civilization to Europe.
Yeah.
And I also bought Money Will Make You Rich. I'm going to buy 2 more this month. But I've already received 2. I've already on Amazon, actually. I've already received 2. This Church Shift, I bought it 2 months ago. It says it's going to arrive in March. I don't know why it's taking so long, because the other 2 arrived quickly, but this other one, I don't know why it's taking so long.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, I want to say this message on love is amazing, It's something that I've always known, but was lacking in the church when I was in Nigeria, And when I came to the UK, I decided to go to another church completely. I decided to leave Nigerian church. I had to leave a Nigerian church to go to an English-led church. And that was where I began to understand what love was. And I began to see a big contrast between the churches here and the English-led churches here and then the Nigerian church back home. There's a significant difference, I'm telling you the truth. And that is why when you start this love message, I've been so blessed. It has refreshed my life and developed my understanding, broadly around love and what we're supposed to be showing that reflects God's love to humanity. It's amazing. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm enjoying your contribution.
Yeah, thank you. Yesterday message. I know it's a very difficult message to grasp because I believe what you're saying. I've always thought about that. I've always thought this is the way God operates, and this is the way God reasons, and this is the way God's love expresses itself to people of different religions, different faiths, and different understanding, And when you began to talk, I said, man, this is going to be hard for people to understand, especially Nigerians. This is going to be hard because I remember I had a debate with a friend of mine who is also listening to you, and when you were having that talk with that atheist, you made some reference to what you're talking about now, this love thing, and how God loves people when he asked you questions about if Muslims are going to go to heaven and all that. And my friend called me and we were having a debate about it. But I gave this quotation that you gave about Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, but I could not buttress it. I could not argue it. Because I just said, well, I think Jesus Christ, God is compassionate. He's not going to just allow wicked people to just, loving people who understand what it means to be caring and empathetic, to go to hell. But I could not really argue it with him because I did not have this kind of understanding that you gave yesterday. So when you gave that understanding, I said, yes, this is what I'm looking for. And I'm going to go back to that guy and debate with him. But another thing I want to ask a question. I don't know if you can answer the question. Yes. The thing is, in terms of, I want a contemporary example of, Jesus Christ, the way. You gave the way, fine. With the truth, contemporary example of those who will go to heaven, who have truth. I'm talking about maybe of our religion or just our, somebody around you or something like that. And the way, the truth and the life. Those 2 examples, I want you to maybe you can portray on those 2 examples and give contemporary examples of those people that will go to heaven or that are in line with God's scriptures and
Jeff,
God's idea of
Jeff, you they ask impossible question now, because contemporary examples, it means they are alive now. If I understand the concept of contemporary, and if they are still alive, how can I prove it that they will go to heaven or they are in heaven? I can only prove it either by showing you the videos. I have those examples, but I don't know if anybody will believe them. I can show you videos, I can send them to you of people who died, who had what they call clinical death, and went to heaven and actually had encounter with God.
I would like to have those examples at least. It doesn't matter whether they like it or not, whether people want to hear it or not, no matter how difficult it is. I think it would be nice for you to show it and portray it with the scriptures. I think people understand, because it's about revelation. It's about bringing awareness to people relating to the truth of the gospel. I've listened to the message on truth. I've played the whole series on truth. I'm listening to the Kingdom series now, and that truth series changed my life, my mentality completely about life. And if you make those arguments to people, whether they like it or not, it's a seed that you've sown in their lives, and they will continue to remember it, and one day they will come to understand it. And I think Christians,
your brothers and sisters, the Christians are the ones who will fight it the most.
I know. If you send me the video, that would be cool. That would be nice.
Okay, I will send you the video.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No problem.
Yeah.
All right, we have more calls calling in. Okay. All right, here we go. Hello, who is there? I think we have callers calling, but we'll have to get other callers now. And, okay, meanwhile, let's examine the books. Let's examine the books. You have so many books. I'm not talking about the books because I just I just want you to read yourself and, go and research and make your decision. Okay,
hello.
Here we go. Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Hello, good evening, dear sir.
That is Sister Angela. How are you, man?
I'm fine, sir.
Wow. Nice to hear from you again.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. I want to thank you so much for the good work you are doing. God is using you to do. How you are teaching love in Christendom. What you are saying, they are truth. For John the Baptist saying in the scripture, he say, I'm not angry that another person cheated me, but I am angry because it's my brother, my equal, that cheated me. It is so sad that it's the so-called Christians that are cheating Christians. It's so sad that it's the so-called men of God that are not showing love to the members, what to talk of others. Yeah. I have gone through the love service you are showing. It is a pity. I can see the feeling of the poor Nigerians in your face. Although the people you are feeling for, they are not feeling for themselves. They are seeing you as the one that is fighting their dad and their mommy. It's just so sad, and it's just a pity. Even when I talk to them here, they are seeing it as if to say, you don't want the church to grow. When you look at those testimonies, like Philippians 2 verse 3 that says, let nothing be done out of selfishness. That is the truth. The love should not be shown because of what you are getting. You should not show love because of who you know or because you know the other person. But the love they show in Nigeria is the people that started church with them, the people that can cover their evil, the people that are in the same clique with them. The poor masses are not being remembered. I've never gone to church when I used to go to church and come a day, these men of God will say, can we contribute money and take care of them that cannot pay for their children's school fees, them that cannot pay for accommodation, or them that cannot feed. There is nothing like that. Everything about them is egocentrism. How you will feed them fat, how you will make them grow big, how you will make them go abroad, how you make them buy private jets. It's a pity. When you look at the testimony of the woman that said, third place. You will say that that thing is fake. She don't know what he's saying. Even when they do IVF, they say Papa prophesy. Even when they adopt a child, they will give glory to God. They say Papa prophesy. What type of thing is that? How can you be telling God in the theater, double portion, Papa say, and God is manufacturing baby within a second. As you pronounce it, God will manufacture a baby. God is not a magician. God is not a magician. He's not somebody that you can command. It's just so sad. Look at the man that is giving testimony that the son raped somebody. Is it not a shame for such a person to come out on a platform to be saying such a testimony? And people are clapping there, which means the Papa is supporting evil. Did he did magic that the child was acquitted and he went to US and married a white man and became a citizen of US? It's so sad, it's so annoying. And people are sitting there. Look at the other one that is saying all those testimonies are rubbish. It's making me to weep. Yeah, I can't understand what type of testimony. All in the name to bring more members, to bring money. So when you are in your house, you run to that chilo that is where it is happening, so that you drop more seed, you pay more tax, you pay more seed for Papa's birthday. It's so sad. Now people are having God of calendar. He's no more God of heaven. He's no more the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's the God of Shiloh, the God of calendar, the God of Oyedipo. What of the God that formed you right from the day you are in your mother's womb? It's so sad, DSC. But one thing I beg you, please, sir, continue this love series. Even if it's what we studied throughout this February, it's good. Whether we like it or not, it will reach everybody. By the grace of God, very soon, I will open your platform where people will be gathering in Abuja to listen to your messages. We will change. By the grace of God, you are coming to Nigeria. We bring a lot of change. God has ordained you for this nation, and He will never leave you nor forsake you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Even people that are condemning you, no problem. We love them, but we beg them to practice what you are doing. Even if they don't believe on you, let them practice what you are saying, because they can see your result. God bless you. I don't have much to say. You can see I love my voice. I lost my voice. God bless the family and keep us in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you so very much, Sister Angela. Beautiful. Good job. Good job. Excellent. That is so encouraging. Very, very encouraging testimony. Despite the fact that the voice is weak, but the spirit is strong. So your testimony is always a huge, huge encouragement to all of us. Okay, who is the next caller? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Can you put off the Facebook?
Hello?
Put off the Facebook. Let's hear your voice. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Put off the Facebook there. Put off the sound so that we can hear you, please. We need to hear you. All right. Who is calling?
Insufficient.
Oh, what a surprise. You are watching us live?
Yeah.
You are supposed to be busy. Oh.
I had a whole day today, so I decided to join live.
Please speak into the microphone, look where the microphone is in your device so that your voice could be louder.
Is it better now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Sorry about my YouTube, rather.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I want to start by saying thank you so much for this series. It's really an impressive series because most time I'm not able to join online. I go back to watch it. But I believe this love series is one of the reasons, this love issue is one of the reasons the continent of Africa is lacking behind, because it's still the same love issue that makes Nigerians, let me start from Nigeria because that is the country in Africa I'm familiar with. It seems we don't really have value for human life and humanity. That's because of lack of love, and it's still all
Hello?
in our ruling system, in our government system, then back to the church. But interestingly, I really want to comment on two of the testimonies that were shared today. It really, I don't know, it did something to me. It showed me the misconceptions going on in the church. I think it's one of the things you pointed out in your book, The Mountain of Ignorance.
Yes.
That was the testimony of the lady that said she had to quit her job because her job was not allowing her to serve God the way she wanted to serve God. And the question is, what is the idea of serving God? And the serving God she's obviously talking about is attending activities in the church. You resigned, quit your job without getting another job, and you went to talk to your pastor. The pastor did not discourage her. Then she now came up to make the matter worse. It's more like legalizing it to now give this thing as a testimony, and everybody is clapping, giving an ovation to an act of foolishness and stupidity. Because the real sense of it is being in your doing your weekly activities or attending prayer meetings. I don't really think that is the idea of serving God or what God is expecting of us. If I'm wrong, maybe you correct me. Because you can also serve God in the marketplace. So why do you have to quit your job? Because according to you, it's not allowing you to serve God. In what way? Attending activities, or you cannot meet up with prayer meeting? Are there no people in that workplace that will need to be shown the love of God, where you can actually take the love of God to in that sphere of influence where you're working?
Yes.
Everybody there has been saturated with the love of God, or it only boils down to when you sign. I think she actually said the pastor told her to go and take a paper of the units where she wants to serve and fill and submit. And as a result of that, she got a call from where she did not apply. And she didn't do interview, and she got the job. So what principles are they actually teaching people? That just come to church, lazy around, then God will grant you favor because you're in the choir unit, or maybe you're cleaning the church, you're in the sanctuary. That is what services to God is. So because of that, people remain in the four walls of the church. They don't go out of the church. They believe that serving God is in those things, those house chores, the little things they do in the church. That is the idea of serving God. So how can a congregation of over 1,000 people be serving God only in the four walls of a building called church? I don't really think that is service to God, and I think that should be discouraged, because as long as I'm concerned, that was not a testimony. She was actually, I would say, it was going against the principles and rules of nature, because it is God that created work, and services to God can be done outside the several meetings in the church. That is that one for her. I didn't see sense in that testimony. And that is part of the reason why we are having young people who don't really value work in Nigeria. People just believe if you can do 40 days fasting, if you pray more, you attend activities more, you are very spiritual, then favor will come, unmerited favor. God will grant you 1,000 years of favor, whatever they call it. You know, a day of favor is more than 1,000 years of labor. And it's the church that is teaching this thing. That testimony is just a clear example. So in other words, why God granted her that new job, in quote, is that she resigned from her job and picked up a sanctuary where she wants to serve in the church. So because of that, God granted her another job where she has been having favors, of which the favors, there was no proof of it in the testimony. So another thing is, we need to teach the young people not to be carried away by all these testimonies, because I don't believe most of these testimonies are true. Some of them I feel is a make-up story. It's just like the woman that said she was delivering, you know, and after she delivered, because she keyed into some prophecy that said it's double portion, and you were pregnant with a child, you finished, the doctor wants to clean you up, he said no. Papa said double portion, or bishop, whatever, said double portion. And the doctor said push to clarify your conscience. Then she pushed, and the double portion just came out in the form of a baby. Those things are crazy. It's not true. So these are the kind of, I don't know the word to give it. the kind of
fraud.
How do I put it now? Is it misconception? There is a word I'm looking for.
Is it not fraud or deception? Huh?
That they teach the people you can get something for nothing. God can just perform a miracle and something can just appear. Actually, those are the kind of saying the prophecies, prophesy, call those things that are not as if they were.
Those are wrong doctrines.
They teach people to do.
They are wrong doctrines.
It is killing the people. It's killing our continent. It's killing our nation. So I believe all these kind of things should be discouraged, and our young people should not be deceived by these so-called made-up testimonies, because I do not believe in that. God is a God of principle, and God will not work against his principle just to fulfill what one bishop or one prophet said. That is my contribution to the message for today, which was wonderful.
But Dr. Sufficient, will we have time to be calling you in sometime like this?
Hello, sir.
I said make you they call in more often now. Your contribution is very sane.
I could barely hear you.
Okay, don't worry about you. You go listen later on. Thank you.
All right, sir.
God bless.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, I think that's about it for today, everybody. Thank you so very much. That's it for today. And we'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow is my wife's birthday. Even though we had, people have been congratulating her every day, but tomorrow is our real birthday. So we are going to be having nice time here among ourselves tomorrow. We all will be able to share some of that experience and that what we are going to our experience tomorrow with you as well. So peace. God bless.